Periscopers, you got to follow at 979 ESPN Radio on Twitter, and then you can Periscope. Hey, Florida State, Florida tonight. Little baseball, chance to break up a long losing streak to the University of Florida. This is it's a toughie. I've obviously followed this particular rivalry for many, many years. I spend the bulk of the first matchup of every year against Florida on this show complaining about how they've bastardized this once great series with a series of one-offs, and it's annoying because what you really want is, of course, a 3-game set, a 6-game set, a 4-game set. 4-game set was traditional. Used to do the Thursday, Friday. For you youngins who don't know, you veteran Cameron Show listeners are like, here he goes on that you-know-what again. But if you're newer, then you don't know that this used to be a 4-game set, 2 in Tally, 2 in Gainesville. Every year, kind of vice versa, right? You might start 2 in Gainesville, come do 2 in Tallahassee. You'd go Thursday through Sunday, and it was magnificent. It was a real test of both clubs, not a one-off. It was, I'm going to throw my ace, you're going to throw yours. Then I'm going to throw my 2, and you're going to throw yours. I'm going to throw my 3, and you're going to throw yours. And we're going to find out what it's like. Who's got the deeper bench? Who's got the better bullpen? Who's got the better team over the course of 4 games? And it was outstanding. You don't get that anymore. And I won't prattle on too long. Instead, you get a one-off with a midweek starter. And then you get another one-off with a midweek starter. And then you get another one-off with a midweek starter.
And in a lot of cases, especially when you're talking about the way Florida does it, you get 2 innings and 2 innings and 2 innings and 1 and 1.
Yeah, it makes for long games. And unfortunately, as of late, games that have favored Florida, I will tell you, if that plays out in the way you just described tonight, I think it favors Florida State right now at this juncture of the season. In Game 1, Florida State's bullpen has been very, very good. Ton of arms to throw at the situation, to throw at the problem, if you will, in any given game right now. Now, no frontline starting that's been elite, but oddly enough, that's been the same for Florida, where they haven't had the same kind of pitching staff that we're accustomed to seeing, which is typically, unfortunately for us, the best in the country. And they haven't been that. They haven't been that. And the other thing that's been really interesting to watch and to see play out early on this year is that ordinarily, Florida picks up the baseball with the best of them. They are not doing that this year, especially by way of comparison to what they have been in the past. I would also note that Florida State is picking up the baseball, best fielding percentage in college baseball right now. So it's been something to behold. Play 14 games, have 5 errors is rather remarkable. That's where Florida State's at right now. So some things have changed a little bit coming into this game this year. Again, baseball's an oddity. On any given night, you're as good as whoever starts the game for you. Obviously, if you go out and give up a 7 spot in the first, your chances of winning tonight aren't very good. And you never know when that's going to happen. Let's hope tonight, if it does happen, it happens to the good guys and not to the bad guys. But we'll see what happens here with Florida State tonight. I'm interested to see what we are. It's not just this game. This game doesn't decide that. But it's this game, and then it's a road game in the ACC, a road series, in the ACC. And so we're getting into it now. I guess that's a nice way of saying it's time to get it on.
Yeah, I want to know who this team is. I've seen bits and pieces, obviously the first ACC weekend series, and attended the weekend series to open it up against Maine, but it doesn't really teach you anything except that you love baseball. It reminds you how much you love baseball.
That is true.
Then the weekday stuff mostly got canceled. We did.
Well,
play
the 2 road games, our first true road games, both were rained out. USF and Jacksonville.
We eke out one over North Florida. So you're wondering, who are we? Who are these guys? But that's where this starts to get fun. Tonight is the first indicator, especially when you're talking about 1 through 9 in a lineup. A lot of inexperience, but big bats. And so here's their chance. There's a defiance to this team that's under the surface. Sometimes not so subtle. Sometimes it is subtle. But I do like that. And if this team is trying to establish its own identity and establish its own program identity for the next 2 or 3 seasons, hint, hint, right? Here is a good opening act to do just that.
Out of the ACC, we have a final ACC tournament underway. That's right. You don't have to worry about it, guys. We're not playing today or tomorrow. We're sitting back and resting and watching those that were not nearly as successful as Florida State in basketball have to go out and fight their way through the tournament. Miami, for example, who's had a god-awful year, was able to outlast another team that had a god-awful year in Wake Forest, 79-71 today. And in a game that is currently being played between Notre Dame and Georgia Tech, Notre Dame up big 45-29 there. So that's what you got out of the ACC tournament. And again, it's awfully nice to sit back and not have to worry about this other than to say, oh, well, that team's out, this team's moving on, but we've got time to go ahead and rest up. Leonard Hamilton made me laugh this week and made me laugh today in talking about the ACC voting. He was asked in a roundabout way if it bothers him that he finished fourth in the Coach of the Year candidate in the conference, or that his players were left off first team, second team, third team, you name it. And he said no, because most of the voters for that have no clue who his players are and aren't from Florida and are from up there. And so he's used to it and doesn't really expect much difference. That's true. He's not inaccurate there. I think that's part of the problem. Just part of the problem, but part of the problem indeed.
Well, he raised it in a not-so-subtle way, which is why you're laughing, I'm assuming.
Yeah. But Florida State, if you want to do a double whammy, we'll start the show with it. You get this, and then you get that promotion for the launch of the ACC Network, which is exciting, the launch of the ACC Network. And I would think one of the major selling points to get people on board with the ACC Network, obviously, would be to showcase some of the greater brands this conference has to offer, the ones with the most cachet and accomplishments in the money-making sport of football. But instead, the ACC Network's promo features an awful lot of everybody not named Florida State. And I'm not ordinarily on board with the folks with the pitchforks hanging out at the gates, angry about every little thing that occurs. But I will say, that is a doozy of a slight that you wouldn't want to promote an iconic Spear or Chief Osceola and Renegade, the Chop, any number of shining moments in Florida State lore since having joined the ACC, including national championships, 3 of them since joining the conference. Then that would strike you as an odd thing to exclude, would it not? I get that if you want to champion right now some things that are in of the now, you're going to start with Clemson, and you should. They're, frankly, the best team in the conference. It's really not that close, and they deserve that kind of honor, that kind of praise. If you want to focus in on, obviously, given the fact that the ACC is a lot older than Florida State's time in it, you can go back and maybe begin as a doff of the cap to those that have been here the longest, a Carolina or a Wake or whomever you want. I got you. It just seems somewhere in there you'd have found it in your heart to work in Chief Osceola and Renegade. I don't know, the Spear drop. How about Florida State's national championships? You name it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not really included. In fact, it's a blip. You get a blip of the sod cemetery. And you saw something else. I don't think I saw the fat rolls with the helmet.
There's the helmet. The Spear's kind of pointing up because he's holding the helmet at his side. It looks like he's walking off the practice field or something. Yeah, it happens so quick, Tom, you really can't see it. And then you just see a big belly roll, over the football pants. And you're like, oh, all right, there's a gut, our helmet, and that was about 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, so that was what they chose to use there. Meanwhile, you get a good 15 seconds of the stupid-ass Ramblin' Wreck car coming out. I mean, what are we doing?
Featuring the Ramblin' Wreck, apparently. I don't know, because they want to move to Atlanta. I mean, what are they doing? I mean, it's a subliminal message of some kind?
I don't know. Bottom line is, I get it. The slight that Florida State fans feel today, it's real, and I understand it. I also understand that DirecTV on board with the ACC Network and that things continue to look up for the ACC Network, which is important. That's the bigger, more important thing, that this looks like they're going to have a chance to succeed here.
Which they'd rather have without us, apparently. So they'd say, all right, a big win for all of these teams in the conference. In fact, 13 of them. Plus Notre Dame. Notre Dame got a lot of run in that thing too, didn't it?
Yeah, it's
Surprised they didn't have like just the Notre Dame theme and like the NBC logo there too, saying, "All right, ACC."
It really is kind of crazy, right? I mean, I didn't even notice it until you quote tweeted it, and then I looked at it and went, "What are they doing? What are they doing?" Objectively speaking, and I try to do this from time to time as a thought exercise, just to have fun with it, like just to see, and then compare and contrast, and maybe do some actual research. If you go by conference, understanding where you're from, where you grew up, where you went to school, your ties, regionality bias, all that stuff, right? If you go through the Pac-12, if you go through the Big 12, if you go through the Big 10, it's really quite easy, I think, to nail it as to who has the most amount of history, cachet, brand significance, successes, you name it, okay? If you say Big 10, people immediately think Ohio State. They immediately think Michigan, probably Penn State pretty shortly thereafter, and then it becomes debatable.
No, recency bias suggests it's Ohio State, and then you start filling
but
out the
I even
rest,
mean history-wise. I mean, it's Ohio State is iconic. It is. I mean, so you would go back and you would go through all the great coaches, all the great players, the Heisman trophies, the national championships, the rivalry with Michigan. That's as old as the conference. You would talk about that. That's who you would name. You wouldn't name, Northwestern, and you certainly wouldn't name Nebraska because they've barely been in the conference. You would, these would be the schools. The Pac-12, you would probably name, I would think, USC first. I don't think it's close. I think it's USC. Might get into a bit of a debate after that. Washington, Stanford, I don't know. Stanford's recency bias, they haven't really mattered. It's an elite school, but from an athletic standpoint, while great across the board, really haven't dominated in football.
Show the tent of suspicion.
With UCLA,
UCLA's
you would draw
colors.
it in even. Yeah. But I do. I think you would start probably with USC. Maybe Washington would be next, probably. I think
stick with USC mostly.
You'd show a lot of USC.
They probably get 45 out of the 60 seconds in the promo.
A lot of USC. I agree with you. A lot of Southern Cal. A
little bit of Oregon from the last 10 years.
Yeah,
and
you have a little John McKay in there and John Robinson, all the great coaches at USC. That's kind of what you would do, right? Okay, so if you went to the Big 12, remembering that some of these programs belong to the old Southwest Conference or the Big 8 before it became the Big 12, you would go into that and you'd say, listen, without a doubt, if you think Big 12, you're thinking Oklahoma and Texas, period. We're done here. That's what you're thinking, and after that, you can argue about amongst each other. But those two schools would be the ones that you prominently looked at, in particular Oklahoma, quite frankly, but that's what you would look at. And we could do this with each. If you say ACC, and again, we're talking about the money that's made in football. I know that this traditionally has been a basketball conference, but it's not anymore given the prowess over the years of Florida State and Clemson. Now, Miami was supposed to add to that cachet, but they have failed miserably.
They got their face time with the turnover chain.
They did, but they haven't won anything in the ACC, so they don't,
Right, they should have gotten the blip because that's the significance of Miami's presence in the ACC.
That's right. But okay, until they do, understandably, they are a brand. The U is a brand, and so is that stupid turnover chain. So it is, right? So there you go. You would say, and I mean, if you lived in, again, Manhattan, Kansas, and somebody asked you about this, you would say, oh, well, the ACC, Clemson, Florida State. Then you might think about it a little bit more, and you'd say, oh, Virginia Tech and Miami. And in any particular, that's what you would say. It's just not hard.
It's Clemson, Florida State football. It's Duke, North Carolina basketball.
Yes.
And then we can move on.
Yeah.
Other teams in and out. They come and they go.
Let's not forget about our national championship softball and soccer teams and, all that.
No, but you're talking about brand power that people in Kansas would know
about.
about.
I'm just right. I'm kidding. I'm saying that it's just not hard to get right, and they bungled it again. And it's hard not to believe that's anything but intentional.
Yes, it's an omission of intent. That's right.
It has to be. It has to be. Somebody had to have been chuckling when they put that together.
Probably Swaffy himself.
I don't think so.
He's let you down.
Swaffy is getting down to the bottom of this, just like he did when he launched the ACC Network and all of its glory. We'll soon see. But he is going to get to the bottom of this time.
He said, in exchange for this favorable schedule in 2019.
You're getting shafted in the promo.
That's right. You're not getting the promo.
What do you think of them apples?
Now go try and win 8 games, okay?
We're
then
going to
get you back on a promo.
We're going to give you the best possible schedule, and then from there, guys, let's get it together. Jesus, maybe next year we'll have you in the promo.
We'll have you feature in the promo if you can win 8 games.
Can you win 8 games?
What do you say?
Vegas seems to say so. I will tell you this now. You look around, and I knew it was just a matter of time. We'd be getting the numbers and some of the, here and there, projections. I think 7.5, Florida State.
I was so sure last year that maybe I'll stay off of this one. I don't know.
Well, we were both mistaken in our projections. So, too, was Vegas. Sadly mistaken.
If only we reviewed that Nooney Murray touchdown. Who knows? Maybe we would have hit the number.
Well, if we don't drop back to pass with DeAndre Francois, who's never felt pressure in his life, and just run a damn draw and punt, we beat Miami. There's your 7-5 right there, buddy. The review against Vol Tech and the win against Miami. Problem solved. Now we're riding a wave of momentum.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on Thursdays in collegetown.com.
Hendrick.
Want to know what power feels like? Come get behind the wheel of an all-new, completely redesigned 2019 Silverado 1500 from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy. So hurry in to shop our huge selection, over 100 in stock, at Tallahassee's Chevy Truck Headquarters, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy on West Tennessee or DaleJr.Chevy.com. Find new roads.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet, Tallahassee's hometown Chevy dealer.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Golick and Wingo.
So let's just put it in some sort of perspective. Antonio Brown, he's the only player in the history of the NFL to have 6 straight 100-catch seasons. No one has produced over a longer period of time on the level of Antonio Brown. So let's just take that away, right? Now we have the fact that his first contract was renegotiated during the old CBA. And one of the things the Steelers could have done then that they can't do now is renegotiate when they did renegotiate his contract. They knew what they got him after, I think, his second year in the league, and they renegotiated, which at the time was a huge raise for him. So they got him on the cheap, even though for him it was a huge raise. And then he clearly outperforms that contract. And the Steelers were so fed up with him for whatever reason. They are allowing themselves to have the best receiver in football leave their building for a 3rd and a 5th round pick, and they're willing to eat almost $22 million in dead money. I don't think we're going to see a lot of teams being willing to eat $22 million, essentially, to let a player have all this leverage.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived or are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and only can be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. Going on right now during Jeep Freedom Days. Only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. ST18J605 must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway is currently hosting a soccer equipment donation drive for children in the Philippines. Through family and friend connections, the Corner Pocket has adopted the Baybay City Jaguars Football Club in the Philippines as their sponsored team. Youth and teen soccer equipment, new or used, can be dropped off from 11 a.m. through late night 7 days a week at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, located next to Earth Fair on the Parkway. Whether it is a pair of cleats, an old soccer ball, or any other equipment, anything and everything is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your consideration. From 97.9 ESPN Radio and the staff at the Corner Pocket.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I wish we were all hanging out on the deck, listening to a little Talking Heads, having a cold beer, laughing at those that have to start their ACC tournament campaign long before we do. We could watch them bumble and stumble and beat each other up as we order some delicious food, talk about what it must be like to be them, how difficult it is, the task at hand.
So I was at one of our clients today for lunch, the Corner Pocket, and I was getting some business done and watching Wake in Miami and laughing to myself. And I thought, man, some people rolled in that just got off the golf course, and I thought, you sirs, you're doing it right.
You're having
coming
a
in
fabulous Tuesday is what you're doing.
19th hole experience, right? It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Here you go. That's a pretty nice Tuesday.
About as good a Tuesday as you're going to have. It's a shame you got to walk in and watch sorry-ass Miami and sorry-ass Wake play basketball. I would have said, can we put it on a more engaging game against better teams? They're all littered throughout the country.
Well, they did have the replay of Tampa Bay-Toronto from last night, which that's wholly entertaining.
Yeah, so there you go. You could do that. You watch a replay of something you already know the results to as opposed to watch.
That's a good watch right there.
Florida State, as I mentioned, takes it to Gainesville for quote unquote the Sunshine Showdown. We are perfect in the non-conference, and again, you're talking about trying to get past a losing streak that's annoying more than anything else. Some people certainly look at it as being more than it is, but it is something that has even begun to bother me, and I'm wholly rational when it comes to streaks in baseball and the oddities of said streaks. And I mean, I've watched us or my favorite teams in baseball have a losing streak to the dregs of the earth, and you'll say, well, that's just crazy. We can't beat so-and-so, and they're awful. Sometimes it happens that way. We've lost to a real good Florida team far too many times in this matchup, 8 straight to be exact, 13 of the last 14 if we're going to really look big picture here. That is trouble. Some. Indeed. So I'm holding my breath tonight that the streak ends because you don't want that to take on an added weight to become something that it ought not be. But when streaks get lengthy like this, they do become something other than that game that night between two teams. It becomes something greater. You're confronting something more significant than the players that'll take the field tonight for Florida.
I don't know that you said it yet, but something's got to give. We're undefeated in the non-conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've won 8 straight, so something's got to give tonight in Gainesville.
Well, I think that something, Tom, is us winning the game. I feel good about it. I arrived here this morning feeling really good about it, to be honest with you. I did. I thought, hey, man, I think we're going to be all right tonight. Maybe even sweep the season series.
Oh, my God.
But you can't sweep the season series in one game. You can just start the campaign to do such. You got to win the first one for it to be a sweep. So let's go from there and get a win and be done with this albatross, rid ourselves of the frustration, and go on, get with the getting, your road ACC series. Now we know we get to the meat of the schedule, and it becomes an awful lot of fun to find out, sort of a fact-finding mission as to exactly what we are. We hit the ball out of the ballpark. We slug right now. We strike out a ton. We walk a lot, still get on base a lot. But most importantly to me is we pick up the damn ball. Best in the country currently. Don't know that that'll last. You don't have to be the best in the country. Just be somewhere in the top 25 and picking up the damn ball. Because that has been the part, Tom, that has bothered me more than anything else. A program built around pitching and defense that couldn't do either all that well. That's problematic. Certainly couldn't pick it up.
Doesn't sound like it bothered you at all, to be honest.
You got to find a way to, field a ground ball. I got
Keep it in front of you. Stay with it.
Yeah.
Stay with it. Keep it in front of you.
I feel like I'm talking to Bryce.
Now put it in your pocket. Don't throw it. Don't bother.
He's gotten really good at getting in front of the ball. He's not afraid. I mean, it's something these last few years where I go, good God, man. What are we doing here?
Does this game lock you in? Because it does for me. Florida State baseball has been part of the shuffle, but I'm not locked into it. Usually that first matchup against Florida gets you kind of kicking in high gear.
Well, it's interesting, too, when you talk about it from the angle of covering a program or a central theme. Now, this show talks about a lot of things. It can talk about the NFL. We might venture down the road of an interesting NBA story, certainly random stories of people being attacked, like that dumbass woman who walked past the barrier to take a selfie with a leopard and got attacked the other day. I mean, we will talk about that. By the way, that is a misleading headline throughout the country over. Woman attacked. A woman walked into. Yep. I mean, what are we doing here? She lived. She survived. Had she not, I have to admit, I still would have.
It's like
thought thin to herd.
It's like attaching accident to when somebody's climbing a skyscraper and then they fall.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's not an accident.
No, that's just you being a dumbass.
Yeah, that's the consequence. That's the odds.
That's right. That's what happens with her. She goes past. Did you see the size of the barrier? Folks, go look this story up. I won't prattle on about this, but you can. There's a woman that got attacked by this awesome, beautiful, majestic black panther. It's a gorgeous creature. She climbed the barrier is significant, Tom. It's like you have to take some time to think it through.
You got to want that selfie.
You do. That selfie has to be everything to you. My kids laughed for 30 minutes the other night. It's making me laugh thinking about it. We were watching the nightly news. I got home. It was 6:30, whatever it was. Sat down. The news is on. I think it was ABC, NBC, something like that. We had the news on, right? And they were going through the headlines in the day. And it wasn't long, unfortunately, after that airplane crash in Ethiopia. And my kids were watching glued. Now they don't want to fly. They're scared to death because there's such a thing as planes going out of the sky. I think they had some, cursory knowledge of that, but I don't think they really realized, like, oh, this is what it looks like. I mean, stuff littered everywhere, dead people, the whole deal. I'm like, all right, guys, well, this is extremely rare. Believe me, far more in the way of car accidents every day than, I'm giving them every statistical measure I can.
Also,
right?
SpongeBob is available right now on demand.
Right. We could flip this over anywhere. So we're watching the news, though. They're getting to the age where they need to know what's going on, current events. We're watching the news. So Christy looks at me. I'm like, hey, they'll be all right. They're not showing bloody bodies or anything. They'll be all right. So
sometimes the news will do that.
Sometimes they do.
Hey,
what are we doing here?
Hey.
Yeah. So we're watching the news. The next thing that happened was this attack. The woman, well, not this attack, this woman's dumbassery on display as she climbs this barrier, and Bryce starts to chuckle, which made me chuckle. But anyhow, they showed they showed the panther, which was a beautiful creature, or leopard, or whatever the hell it was. Anyhow, and then they show her screaming on the ground. What I thought, two things made me laugh about this. First of all, there was somebody there filming her on the ground screaming about the laceration that starts in her hand and goes down to her elbow. So that's just great. Somebody there has just decided, well, I'm filming this. How awesome is this? So they got her screaming. Oh, and she's yelling, oh, it hurts. It hurts. And Bryce starts laughing even harder. Well, then they say it was all in an effort to take a selfie. And so I looked over at Bryce, and he's like shaking his head. Clark's chuckling. He's like, a selfie? I'm like, she had to take that selfie. There are consequences. And so they then turned, the story pivoted to how many people have died this year taking selfies. And they showed a series of pictures right before the moment of truth. Somebody trying to take a picture of themselves on a train track, and you could see the train rapidly approaching. Somebody, and it's wonderful.
I think it's perfect that the selfie survives.
Yes. So
that's what you wanted, right?
My favorite part, and what made both my boys laugh and makes me laugh still, there's a picture of a man being attacked by a camel. And the camel has this guy's face in its jaws. And as he's trying to take the picture, you see the camel going, coming down to bite him. Furious with this man who's standing in front of this camel. And Bryce is still laughing about it. He brought it up this morning. He goes, Dad, that dude who got bit by the camel. I said, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So the camel got him.
Oh, the camel got him.
As it lights out.
Have you seen the size of a camel?
Yes.
They're massive. I think if they decide to get you, that's that. You're in trouble. It's like a moose. Anyhow, so the camel got this guy's face. It's an awesome picture, and we laughed about that.
It's like a cursive moose.
It still makes me laugh. Where were we going? Florida State baseball. We were talking about getting into it. Oh, the oddity of this situation for us is the fact.
Fantastic recall. I just got him. That's good stuff.
So the oddity of this is that ordinarily, well, I can't say that anymore because it's now 3 years running.
Ordinarily.
Yes, as we like to say on the show. Prior to this run of outrageous success in college basketball, we were ready to really lock into Florida State baseball. We had already pivoted, speaking of which, to baseball. We had already said, oh, thank goodness baseball's back. I know we're going to be good there. Maybe not as good as I'd like, but they're going to be good. Yeah. That I know. And so you had already begun the process of really kind of getting to know the strengths and the weaknesses and problems that you see on the schedule down the line, areas where they can improve, some other areas that you think they're going to have to overcome that and or just find a way around it. And I think you're right. I think a lot of people tonight will be locking in. This game is on the SEC Network. Eduardo Perez is also in the booth, so you'll have no representation. But that game is being played. You can watch that game tonight at 6:30. I think this will be the first time a lot of people tune in, and so I can tell you, team hits a lot of home runs, slugs. They absolutely do. I absolutely find it thoroughly enjoyable to watch Nando De Sedas play baseball. That kid is a major leaguer, and I don't know what the numbers will say for him this year, but watch the swagger with which he plays, and I don't mean arrogance. It's just smooth. He's just beautiful to watch play the game. He is. Some guys, you just look at him and you go, that dude's, it's going to work out. He makes it look like it's the easiest thing he's ever done. So we got some guys that are fun, a lot of power. Cabell's got a lot of power. There are a number of guys we can talk about, but for now, you should also know we do strike out. We strike out in bunches. So tonight, if you're watching a game that may feature, say, 8, 9 strikeouts, don't get alarmed. It's kind of who we are. It's also very representative of modern-day baseball. You know, hit a ton, refuse to give in, even on 1-2, 0-2, you know.
And also, the next time we're at Hauser, don't climb the netting behind home plate to take a selfie. Because you never know.
Please do.
You may.
You can make the nightly news for all of us to scoff at. It would be great. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Freaking bowls.
Bowls?
Bowls everywhere. In Rome proper, right? Bowls upon bowls upon bowls.
That's very interesting.
What's the high school over in Jacksonville, the one with all the good football players?
Bowls?
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
Okay, that ought to do it. Thanks, Jessica, for coming over and helping me declutter my home.
You're welcome. That's what friends are for. Ooh, check it out. I found some loose change in this corner.
That is the second time you have found some hidden treasures in my house.
Do you know you can find savings in every corner of your home?
Okay, I'm listening.
You can find savings from the city of Tallahassee. With their 5% interest financing for more than 25 energy-efficient appliances, measures, and systems, you can get a loan for things like outdoor lighting, floor, ceiling, and wall insulation, Energy Star reflective roofing, and even things like gas ranges, fire logs, and grills.
Wait, even on grills? I've been shopping around for a new gas grill. I had no idea, and with it getting even darker, I could use some outdoor lighting. It seems the City of Tallahassee's loan program may be the perfect solution.
Well, just be sure and invite me over the next time you grill.
Of course, that's what friends are for.
Take advantage of the City of Tallahassee's loan program and save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com to learn more. That's talgov.com for more information.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
After 40 years as Florida State Baseball's head coach, Mike Martin Sr. is making this his final season. Join all of us here at Garnet & Gold as we celebrate the farewell tour for the winningest coach in college baseball history with limited edition commemorative baseballs, t-shirts, and caps in stock right now. And while you're here, check out Nike's hot new line of FSU baseball jerseys, tees, and ball caps. Garnet & Gold with 3 locations, West Pensacola Street, Collard, and Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Ready for a deal on same-day delivery? Time for a Target run. Now you can have Target run to you when you start your free 2-week trial of Ship Today. Same-day delivery shops the cart you create and delivers it fast, so you can fill up your fridge with your phone. It's easy. Get more delivered same day and enjoy a 2-week trial free. Learn more at target.com/shipped. That's SHIPT. Target run and done. Offer valid for new annual members.
It's time for spring cleaning, and you can clean up with fresh deals at Family Dollar. This week, save on spring cleaning items like Dawn dish soap, just 95 cents with your Smart coupon. Extra laundry detergent, buy one, get one free. And Pepsi 2 liters, 4 for $5. Sign up for Family Dollar Smart coupons. Download our app or visit FamilyDollar.com, where we're bringing fresh deals for spring cleaning.
With a Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr. A judge said the NCAA's rules regarding compensation violate federal antitrust law, and athletes may be compensated for education-related expenses beyond current caps. The federal judge in Oakland, California said the NCAA's no-pay rules may remain in force, but the organization may also adopt a definition of compensation and benefits that is related to education for the purposes of complying with the judge's order. The ruling is a middle ground of sorts in the case. Instead of saying that NCAA football and basketball players could be paid in an open market like pro athletes, the judge instead issued a much more narrowed decision that will create change but won't fundamentally upend either sport. Judge Claudia Wilkins' remedy for the NCAA's antitrust violations limits athletes' new compensation to education-related costs, not pay for playing. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
At CDW, we get that you need a network that keeps your business moving forward.
Us for not. Backwards everything, do we?
Either way, CDW has experts who can design and implement a secure, innovative network built on Cisco DNA that learns and adapts to your needs to keep your business moving forward.
Idea good as that.
IT orchestration by CDW. It get who people. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Cisco.
As a doctor who provided medical care to remote islands, Dr. Ben LeBreau has seen some things.
Piracy, hurricanes, being struck by lightning.
While most of us can't relate to confrontations with pirates, we get that life and work come with a certain amount of risk. But your retirement shouldn't. Dr. Ben purchased an annuity to secure a guaranteed monthly retirement income for life, so his money won't stop working when he does. Find out if an annuity is right to protect your future at retireyourrisk.org.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Very excited to announce we will have the Florida State basketball game for you on Thursday. We will carry it in all of its glory. You can stay right here on ESPN Radio and listen to the Noles as we carry the ACC tournament on Thursday afternoon. You'll get that, and then stay tuned. As soon as it's over, we'll do a post-game for you. Looking forward to that as well. So we'll have immediate reaction to Florida State's game on Thursday that you can hear right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Don't have to venture anywhere else. Just keep it here. It's the better station. So you're good to go there, and we will have that playing for you. Good times.
Well, that's just one of the many basketball games we have over the next, 3 weeks, month, because we have everything from Westwood 1 starting next Tuesday night with the first four. And carries all the way through Thursday, Friday. We're going to be playing that from noon to midnight because their coverage is excellent wall-to-wall. The only break we're going to be taking on Thursday and Friday next week is for a pregame show for our first-round game, which we don't know where and when just yet.
Do not. Congratulations, Tom. Your old, very briefly, stomping grounds of Iona have done it again, wins its fourth straight MAAC MAC tournament title by beating Monmouth in the conference tournament finals. That is a 10-game win streak to boot, and there you go. Iona, 12-6 in the league, 17-15 overall. Really, the entirety of the MAC, that would be the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, is garbage. Every single team, including Iona that won it.
Well, hang on now.
It's garbage.
Iona is a champion, sir. And
of said garbage league.
We're getting used to going on to the next level, so I'm proud of those kids.
I have nothing against the Gales. I've got nothing against Iona. If some sorry-ass team must emerge from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, it might as well be Iona. But honestly, these were the team's records in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, Tom. Iona, who wins it thanks to a 10-game winning streak, moves to 17-15 on the season.
That's right.
It was a dicey time at one point. I think at 7-15, you were a little worried, were you?
Peaking at the right time.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats finished second at 16-14. Ryder, 16-15. Siena, 17-16. Your favorite, Canisius,
Emperor Canisius,
finished 15-17. Monmouth, 14-21. Manhattan, the Jaspers, 11-21.
Oh, bad year for the Jaspers.
Marist, 12-19. Quickly, Marist's nickname is?
The Marys.
Red Foxes. Just like Roberts Elementary.
The Marist Marys.
Niagara Purple Eagles. Why they got to be purple? 13-19. St. Peter's Peacocks. They were 10-22. And the Fairfield Stags.
It's because they loved VJ Singh. That's why they're purple.
Oh, man. The Fairfield Stags were 9-22. So only 4 of the 11 teams finished over 500. 4 teams did not have winning records, finished no better than 2 games over 500. It's the first time since the debut of the conference in the 81-82 season that none of their teams finished with at least 20 wins. Of the 32 Division I basketball conferences, only the MAAC failed to have a team win at least 20 games.
That's okay. Iona can hit some threes. Look out. Bombs away.
You know, I'm doing a service to everybody that's going to be in an NCAA pool, and that's the vast majority of you. When you see Iona, run the other way because they got fat, if you can call it that, 17 and 15, off a bunch of sorry-ass teams, that's for sure.
Well, if Florida's not careful, they're doing something the Gators aren't.
Well, that's true. But I think Florida might have won the MAAC.
I don't know. Were they playing in November? You know, were these two teams playing in November? Because the Gators were a real hot mess. I mean, they're kind of a mess the whole season. But that night that we played them here, Iona maybe have given them a run.
Well, they might have because did we dispatch of them?
I mean, it felt like we were playing South Alabama or something.
Well, it really wasn't very competitive. And that played out. You know, as we watch the two teams in their seasons, respectively, that's the way it played out. To note here, we can later on I'll document it, but was looking at his number here, was kind of piecing something together. But we can say goodbye to Danny Manning. Wake is out of the tournament. Wake will not be moving on in the postseason, and I got to guess that Danny will not be moving on as Wake Forest's coach. It's been a tough road to hoe.
However, somehow, in a twisted turn of events, Danny Manning finished ahead of Leonard Hamilton in ACC Coach of the Year voting.
We got Leonard's audio for today because it is really good. It's fantastic.
Grabbed it from War Chant. They put out the quick video on their Twitter feed.
Well done, War Chant. Here you go. Here's Leonard Hamilton about the service done Florida State's players and coaches in the voting for all ACC All-Conference awards.
Well, I'm not really sure we've ever really had a whole lot of recognition. Most of the people who vote are not from Florida. Does anyone in the state of Florida have a vote? So, I mean, that's kind of, that's the way the footprint has been over a number of years. When we go to media day, most of the guys can't name me 5 guys on my team. People are creatures of habit. And in the ACC footprint, those guys are always seeing each other. Most of them don't stop in Tallahassee on their way anywhere. So that's just the way it is, and not something that bothers us at all.
I believe him when he says it doesn't bother him at all, and he is always funny.
I think he's over it, though. It did bother him at some point, but now he's over it because he's just telling you how it is. Does anybody in the state of Florida have a vote? And I believe Wayne McGahee at least
raised
is one.
His
He's
hand.
like,
yeah, I do. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. Well, I've been up to Charlotte for the tournament, and it's to be sure that you're thought of as an also-ran, and that's why I will say, though, it makes it all the sweeter when Florida State has these kinds of years. These stretches, and you've heard the numbers, and Chuck Walsh does a good job with this, but they'll cite them from time to time in the national broadcast as well. You had the 4-year lull, and it was tough. I mean, again, we well documented. I think Coach was in real trouble. His job security was. But prior to that, obviously a nice run in the NCAA tournament, and not just making it year in and year out, but having that Sweet 16 run. And then now subsequently, after surviving that stretch, having gone to back-to-back-to-back NCAA tournaments, including an Elite Eight run, and we'll see what happens this year. The numbers added up in such a way that when you began to look at conference record, winning percentage in the ACC, number of 20-win seasons, all of these things that you use as benchmarks of success to gauge where a program is at or not at or needs to be, Florida State came out nicely. So much so that at times, I think, when you were to relay to somebody in the ACC, especially the Triangle, and were to say to them, Florida State's the 6th winningest team, 5th winningest team in the ACC over the last 8 years. If you brought those numbers up, they're stunned. They're stunned. They'll double check. What? Yeah, that's true.
Well, the national broadcast, you mentioned it, but I think it is because Chuck gives them the numbers. Because if there's any indication, this year is one of those, that national talent, national analysts don't bother to look at the numbers themselves. They'll only regurgitate what's in front of them, because if it requires them to do work, especially on a university like us, Florida State, which is not a blue blood in the sport, they're not going to do it. They're going to fall back on old tropes, and there'll be times when we get a national broadcast and somebody says, well, Florida State defensively has always been a juggernaut, but this team actually has a little bit of offensive skill. It's like, really, where you been?
Yeah, where you been
the last 5 years, man?
I will tell you, though, this team does play real good defense this year. You can accidentally fall into being right by saying that yet again, even if you're using an old reputation. I mean,
there was a lull there for a little bit when we were in transition and we couldn't stop anybody.
Yeah, but we defend now.
But they get surprised by the offense. Like, well, they've got a little bit of offensive skill to them. Like, my man, did you go from 2012 to 2019?
In some ways, the answer to that question is yes. ESPN fired 200 and something people in that time. A lot of those people, it's not unlike newspapers, where you see the level of editing now in newspapers is atrocious. It's embarrassing. The kinds of headlines you read, the stories themselves are littered with mistakes. Oftentimes, it's poor grammar even. And you ask yourself, as you're reading that kind of a story, how is this possible? And it's because you're holding them to the standard that they operated under journalistically for years and years and years before papers fell on hard times and lost out to the internet and the need to chase for clicks, and thus had to obviously let go of important people, vital people in the newsroom, including editors. And it's a shame, because a lot of these guys now edit their own stories. They're under deadline. They're not real good writers to begin with. And then also, I think with ESPN, the number of announcing teams, the number of research teams, production teams, a lot of those members that would have been able to give them greater insight, where they could glean from the numbers readily on a flight to a campus, it's gone. They don't do it. They do a game from the Big 12 on a Tuesday. They're in Tally on a Thursday. Nobody helped them along the way. They got 5 talking points from their production staff. They're like, here's what's on the line. Oh, by the way, this is the good and the bad for both teams. Good luck, buddy. And you're memorizing a roster.
As always, former coach or former player, you're free to do your own independent research, but here's the 5 things we can give you. Oh, you don't have any of your own independent research?
Well, no,
thank you.
No, I agree. You'd want them to, but I just think that a lot of them are under the gun and constantly traveling, and it doesn't excuse away being unprofessional. I agree with that, and falling into laziness, but I also don't think a lot of them really have the time. It's like the same duos do every damn game.
If you're Doris Burke, for example, I'll give you a pass.
She's the best.
And but she does it. She does her job.
But she's also
But she has to go between men's and women's, and then she goes pro. And I think she's stayed mostly NBA of late.
Yeah,
but there was a period there.
I miss Doris in college. You never hear her now. It's like Beth Mowens and a couple other people. You don't really hear.
She could be doing the tournament. Sometimes she jumps on for a conference tournament or something like that. But you have to jump from pro to college, and then you do men's and women's college, and you know everything about. I mean, that's the standard right there, and that's why you can't be lazy as another.
Doris is the standard, and that's why she got elevated to where she did, and she's a badass, and she knows everything there is to know about the NBA and the sport of basketball, and she's really cool. You can sit down and talk to her. I have, and it's been enjoyable. Some people you meet in this industry, you're kind of like, ugh. Others, wow, that exceeds expectations, and she's one of them. Just pro and super sweet, super interesting, too. Hour number 2, fourth coverage. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show.
Sorry.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket.
Oh, my goodness!
Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day, and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together, and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown, Florida State!
Very soon.
Ready to rule the open road? Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy has what you need. Get huge savings on the 2018 Silverado 1500 during the Silverado Sell-Down Sales Event. Shop our huge selection today.
Find new roads at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet and at DaleJrChevy.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice his smooth skin.
Either you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have DirecTV.
I don't have either, actually.
Wow. Really?
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just kinda TV. Only DirecTV has the most live sports in 4K. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Switch from Dish and get a $100 reward card. Limited 4K programming available. Requires entertainment package or higher and compatible equipment. Reward card with 24-month agreement. Maintain service and redeem within 75 days. Card within 4 weeks. Ends 3/31/2019. Select markets only. Requires 2-room setup. Minimum $47 per month for 12 months after discount. Price is higher in second year. New residential customers only. Equipment lease, activation, installation, early termination, equipment non-return, and other charges and restrictions apply.
Front Row Knowles, featuring Tom Block and Keith Jones, is brought to you by Hobson Chevrolet in Cairo, Georgia. Get your best deal the Hobson way. Catch Front Row Knowles every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story, linebacker Anthony Barr not heading to the Jets after all. He changed his mind about signing with New York. He will be returning to Minnesota. Barr initially had intended to sign with the Jets and play outside linebacker in their 3-4 scheme. The Ravens losing a couple more players on defense. Cardinals intend to sign linebacker Terrell Suggs, 1 year, $7 million. Linebacker Zadarius Smith heading to the Packers, 4 years, $66 million. Linebacker C.J. Mosley expected to sign with the Jets. Eric Weddle heading to the Rams after being cut by Baltimore. The defensive defections lead to concerns about the Ravens as a whole, in the opinion of ESPN's Booger McFarland.
They have to play a certain style. Lamar Jackson is not going to wow you with his arm and accuracy, so they want to play ball control, run the football, the zone read. The quarterback is going to run the football a lot, so therefore you're going to lean on your defense. And anytime you weaken a defense, no Suggs, no Weddle, now I question the formula in which you're going to win with.
Bills intend to add a pair of veteran receivers, Cole Beasley, 4 years, $29 million. John Brown, 3 years, $27 million. Dolphins closing in on a 2-year deal with receiver Devontae Parker. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting former Vikings running back Latavius Murray intends to sign a 4-year, $14 million contract with the Saints. Deal shakes up the running back market and means Mark Ingram will not return to New Orleans. Murray will be paired with Alvin Kamara in the Saints backfield. Coaches at elite schools including Yale, Wake Forest, Georgetown, Stanford, UCLA, Texas, and USC among the 50 people charged in a nationwide college admissions bribery scandal. Authorities allege that coaches accepted bribes in exchange for admitting students as athletes regardless of their ability.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. You know, I failed to mention it because it happened over the weekend. But Dan Jenkins passed away. I know you know Dan Jenkins, the famed journalist, writer, and you know, in my era, primarily covered golf, but was a guy that, if you go way back, covered the likes of Bear Bryant and Darrell Royal and other luminaries in the world of college football, but co-authored a couple of books, including one that was made into a movie and Semi-Tough. But I always appreciated Jenkins into his later years. He was 90 years old when he passed. But if you're new, and we get and I bring this up sometimes. Look, I'm 47. I mean, there are people who go back with Dan Jenkins articles many more years than I do. But because sports writing and journalism in general is largely A, under attack, and B, not afforded the same level of distinction and or thoroughness in which they write, it's a pleasure to kind of go back and find the masters within the field, of which there are countless names, but he would be one. And you can just look up Dan Jenkins articles, and they're fantastic, whether it's the 84 U.S. Open, go back to Jack in the 70s or Arnie in the 60s. You can do it, and you'll find these really beautifully written articles that both are informative and also humorous and always insightful.
It's just something that I think people now in this generation get used to in the form of video reports. They think of Rinaldi making you cry every Saturday during college football, college game day, I should say, or some of the reports that are filed during the majors, if you're talking about specifically golf. Jimmy Roberts has done a bunch of good ones over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But it's more the video tributes and the video essays than it is the actual written article and essay.
Yeah, Ivan Maisel did a very good job. I didn't know this, but if you're interested in finding this out for yourself, and we'll move it along, Maisel wrote a real good article on Dan Jenkins and his love affair with college football. And, you know, it talks about Dan Jenkins' writings going back to covering college football before he became sort of a world-class golf journalist, dating back to the 30s. So, there's still a lot for me to uncover there, but it's fascinating. You know, guys like that do, I mean, he was still working as of a few weeks ago. And then, you know, he did it right up to the end. You'd still hear him give commentary occasionally off the majors and talk a little bit about what he saw. I had a chance at Augusta to go by what has been built now, and a lot of people kind of look at the journalism quarters, the writing quarters for the journalists that are covering the Masters at Augusta, as the building that Dan kind of built. It used to be this little sort of haphazard looking thing, and now it's this glorious structure, Tom. Like, when you go, you got to go there. You'll sit there in awe. I mean, the writers are treated with great respect, and they are given an opportunity in a work area to do their best work, their most thorough work. It is first class all the way, like everything on the grounds.
I'll get there someday.
You will. It'll probably be soon, Tom. It'll probably be because of me.
I'm sure. If it is, the world's going to know about it.
Oh, man, we'll have a good time. We'll go. It'll be good. I'll get you a hat.
That'd be great. Sounds good. When you come back from your trip, yes.
I got you a hat the last time I came
yeah.
back from that. Yeah.
I only wear that. Well, no, I wear it on
seen.
special occasions.
Okay. Just wondering if you lost it.
No, it's given the right treatment is what it's given.
And it's the right thing to do. I appreciate that. And, you know, I ruined the Masters hat I bought myself by wearing it the first few days I came back playing golf. Not what you do, but the shirts are still in working order.
Actually, I put it on the other day, and I'm going to have to go get a safety pin. I've lost enough weight that my head is...
Your head shrunk?
A little bit.
It's the opposite of Barry Bonds.
It's it's a quarter. Yes, the opposite. Probably because I didn't inject myself in the
growth hormone,
butt cheek.
Yeah. Ouch.
But no, I have to go down a quarter size because also I'm buying this is my typical thing. Opening day, MLB is only 2 weeks away, and it's the 28th of March.
Sir.
The 28th of March is when baseball season starts in the MLB this year. That's ridiculous, but it's true. But I have to get my annual Mets hat. I get a brand new one every year for opening day, and I have to go back down a quarter inch. How about that?
Good for you, buddy. Well done.
I didn't realize I got chunky in the head.
I didn't think you got chunky in the head. I don't know what's going on there. That's kind of a strange thing. You know what else is strange, but not altogether shocking? Of course, the big news of the day you heard there, I believe, probably in the Sports Center if I had paid attention to it, but certainly in the Bloomberg Minute at some point we'll get it this week, right? And that would be the FBI scandal, or not the FBI scandal, but rather the bribery scandal in college athletics.
Oh, yeah, that was on Sports Center.
Okay, good. I guessed as well.
Christine Lisi, she had it covered.
I did.
Top to bottom.
I was walking out getting coffee, Tom. I had no time for Christine Lisi.
If people haven't found her pattern yet, she tells you what the opinion is, but then they play a clip for 40 seconds.
I have figured out the pattern. It's usually from Booker McFarland for some reason. It's something. I'm like, really? Again? With McFarland?
Where's Deshaun make his money? Down the field.
Yeah, well, he did it again today, too. I'm like, okay, there are other analysts. We can do this. The FBI and federal prosecutors have uncovered a massive bribery scheme to get students admitted to elite universities as recruited athletes and help them cheat on college entrance exams to gain admission. This isn't altogether shocking, given how difficult it is for people to get into college anymore. I figured it was a matter of time before somebody got rich off that, because really rich people have large amounts of disposable income and care about status. And that all adds up to you getting paid, if you're on the right end of this situation, affording opportunity where perhaps merit didn't allow for it. Imagine that.
You know, the number one place you see where people care about status is boarding a plane. People care dearly about the status they have when they're boarding a plane, about getting on before you do.
Well, I've talked about people running to a red light. I don't understand it, right? What are you racing towards? We all got to get on the plane. There's no reason to race to get to your seat. It's not going anywhere, but I would
understand the boarding of the plane.
That.
Like, I get the status part if it gets you free flights. That's pretty cool. And then you have the leverage to call like the platinum line or whatever, and then you can change your bookings. But like the getting on the plane status thing. Excuse me, I'm zone 1. Zone 1. Excuse me.
I don't. Yeah,
out of the way. I'm zone 1.
That's bizarre to me.
All right.
By the way,
congratulations. You're zone 1.
I try to be the last.
Not even crowding you. You're just saying that.
I'm almost like an a-hole about it. I try to be the last person on the plane.
I'm
going to be stuck on the plane. I don't want to be there any longer than I have to be.
Sky preferred. Excuse me. It's like the NFL scouts.
Well, those guys are the most pompous of all people on earth, and you would never guess it, but they are. And we have encountered that on numerous occasions. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston says the scheme, which it dubbed Operation Varsity Blues, come on, fellas, includes 50 people, including college coaches, actresses, and CEOs, who collectively paid $25 million to get their children into schools such as Georgetown, Stanford, UCLA, Texas, Wake Forest, and Yale. Okay. The bribes were orchestrated by William Rick Singer, a California admissions consultant who is scheduled to plead guilty to charges including racketeering conspiracy, prosecutors said. The 9 coaches and sports administrators indicted were Rudolph Meredith, former Yale women's soccer coach, but of course, Donna Hanel, USC Senior Associate Athletic Director.
I feel like Rudolph is missing an initial in front of his name, like W. Rudolph.
W. Rudolph Meredith?
Yeah.
By the way, they were kind enough to write, if you wanted to know, that Rudolph Meredith goes by Rudy. Ali Korashashin, former USC women's soccer coach. Javon Vavich, USC women's water polo coach. Jesus, the whole of Southern Cal decided to get down. Hey, water polo coach, Soccer coach. Guys want to make a little extra scratch? William Ferguson, Wake Forest volleyball coach.
We're never getting that runoff from the Pac-12 network. We got to make our own ends meet.
John Vandemore, Stanford sailing coach. Oh, man. Come on, John. Surely you had enough in the coffers being that you were at Stanford as the sailing coach. Nobody screams, I tie a sweater around my waist more than John. Good Lord. Michael Center, Texas men's tennis coach. Jorge Solicito, UCLA men's soccer coach. Gordy Ernst. Gordy's out of the mix here. Gordy's like, hey, I'm Gordy. What's up? What are we doing here? Former men's and women's tennis coach at Georgetown.
It's actually Jay Gordon Ernst, but he goes by Gordy.
Ernst was hired just last year to coach women's tennis at Rhode Island. Oh. Bud Guilty helped build the case against the others, did Meredith. Oh, Rudy turned on everybody else. He knew he was in trouble. Solicito, Ferguson, and Center have been placed on leave by their schools, while Vandemore was fired by Stanford on Tuesday. Felicity Huffman of Desperate Housewives. That show hasn't been popular in like 20 years, right? What's it been since Desperate Housewives?
Desperate Housewives?
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
It's been a little while.
Not to be confused with The Real Housewives, which is still popular.
Yeah, Desperate Housewives Felicity Huffman was involved, and Lori Loughlin, Full House. We were just mentioning her the other day.
Aunt Becky.
Were among those who paid bribes to help their children gain admission, into the universities. According to the indictment, Huffman was amongst 13 people taken into custody Tuesday in Los Angeles. Both actresses face one charge each of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. There's a difference, you know. Parents spent anywhere from $200,000 to $6.5 million. Well, good God. I could see how one would be tempted. Imagine being offered $6.5 million to be sure Johnny gets into school.
That was the sailing coach. Had to be.
Gotta tell you, that'd be hard to say no to. $6.5 million?
I need a mahogany jib.
I'm sure you do. Here's the only thing I'd say about that. We all want our kids to succeed. We all want our kids to go to whatever university they want to be able to go to, that they're qualified to get into. But I know this. I would want to assume, or I would need assurances. If my kid did not have the acumen for, say, Stanford, and I paid for him to get into Stanford, that's a recipe for disaster. That kid's going to get into Stanford and fail out after I gave the sailing coach $6.5 million.
Not if you give more money to the head of the department.
I was going to say, wait a minute now. With my contribution here, my dumb as a rock child can't get into any of these schools, so I got to pay for him to get into. But I'm going to be sure that he's to pass the classes for my $6.5 million, sir.
Yeah, you do what Dangerfield did. You know, you go erect a new business school, you know, and there it is. You pay for the business school and everything's A-okay.
I mean, good God, man. It's not enough. It's one thing to get your kid into the school. That happens all over the country with,
Legacy.
That's right. Yes. So Legacy gets kids into Harvard. Legacy gets kids into Yale. Legacy, and so does Merit. I'm not saying there aren't kids who honestly don't, work hard enough to get in there. They do. Of course they do. It's just that if you happen to be the son or daughter of a prominent Harvard graduate who has donated an awful lot of money, perhaps the level at which you're judged is different.
Legacy, excuse me.
Yes. So we get the game. It goes on everywhere. This just happens to involve athletics, sort of. But, man, again, if you're getting your kid into a school they can't get into, and they haven't shown the ability maybe perhaps to achieve at that level, that's a mighty disservice. You're putting your kid in classes they can't pass.
I believe you're creating jobs for their fellow students. You're creating jobs for their fellow students to make some money doing homework assignments.
I guess.
Maybe ghosting into some tests. There you go. The big lecture hall tests.
According to federal prosecutors from 2011 to 2019, we're talking about this Singer character, by the way. I would tell you this, Tom. One thing I kind of skipped over here. The U.S. attorney talked about the parents being replete with wealth and privilege. We get that. Singer-operated Edge College and Career Network. This is the guy that, helped place the kids, right? A for-profit college counseling, which is part of the problem, okay, and preparatory business in, guess where he was? Beautiful Newport Beach, California, Tom Lang, and we both know all about it. He identified and recruited coaches who were willing to accept bribes from the parents of prospective students to help them gain admission to elite universities.
I wonder how you recruit somebody into that program.
Into what? Which program?
He said he's recruiting coaches to be on the take.
Well, it's not hard. You stand to make $6.5 million, saline coach. Nobody even knows who the hell you are.
But how do you break the ice in those particular circumstances? Where do you meet?
Somewhere at a nice bar in Newport Beach, California.
I've got a proposition for you.
Yeah.
You're not wearing a wire, are you?
So they facilitated cheating on both the ACT and the SAT exams in exchange for bribes by arranging for a third party. Generally speaking, that third party was a guy named Mark Riddell of Palmetto, Florida. Apparently, Mark's a badass because he took all the tests for all the kids instead of the students themselves. They'd fly him in from Palmetto. Hey, Mark, got an exam this Saturday. I'm really tired, guys. I took 6 ACTs last week. Well, we've got a paying client, so let's get to California, shall we? This one wants to go to Stanford.
We'll put you in Sky Priority.
The indictment said test proctors in Houston and in Los Angeles were paid to overlook. This runs deep. You've got to get to the proctors, Tom. This guy, no stone was unturned.
Yeah, it sounds like he hired Mikey from Breaking Bad to handle all these things.
That's nuts.
Well, you got to make sure you got the proctors on the take. And if you get the proctors, you got to make sure that you got the admissions people. And then the coaches have to be in on it, too.
Without question, though, that's true.
Without breaking a sweat, we're talking about $250K each case.
Singer also retained clients who were willing to pay bribes to the coaches and the college administrators in order to gain admission for their children. The coaches allegedly designated the students as recruits for competitive college athletic teams, regardless of their athletic ability. I can assure you most of these kids weren't athletes at all. And then the payments would begin, funneling through Singer's charitable organization. We even have a fake charity, Tom.
You think any of the kids were like 300 pounds and the dude's like, I can't.
They're
supposed to be athletes.
This guy's supposed to be a world-class tennis player that's going to Stanford. What do you want me to... John McEnroe went to Stanford. You want this kid to sully the reputation of John McEnroe?
It's $3 bills. I can't get this to pass muster.
That fat ass couldn't beat my 7-year-old. Don't worry about it. USC said in a statement that they are aware of the criminal investigation and would cooperate fully. USC's got problems. Like 8 of their coaches are all on the take. Yeah, that's enough of that story. But a good one. Man. And that's a link. You can keep reading. It keeps going. There's more involved. They had a fake charity, funneling the money out that way, taking care of the proctors. This dude in Palmetto flying over to Hell's Half Acres taking tests. Crazy.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Oh, my good friend.
Get me an El Gordo and a Gordo smash. Those are the reasons you always come back.
You were all in on that singing.
And I dance, too.
No, not necessary.
Watch. All right.
Off the bar, Eddie!
No, watch.
And the tapping?
Oh, up.
Sweet Jesus, Eddie, are you all right?
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Gordo's, where Eddie will dance on the bar. In baseball. Yay, baseball. In Gordo's.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Infinity of Tallahassee, the new Kraft Brothers dealership. Now that we're a few months into our new acquisition, Peter and I thought we would give you an update. All of our folks have been working hard to improve the customer experience, both in sales and service. We've also realized that luxury car buyers like to save money on new cars just as much as the rest of us. So we've teamed up with Infinity Corporate to lower the price on some of our best-selling models. Come look at our flagship, the 2019 Infinity Q70 sedan. $5,000 off would be good. How about $10,000 off MSRP? The price is starting at $42,240. Compare that to an Acura RLX, Volvo S90, or BMW 5 Series. Or get a 2019 Infinity QX30 crossover for $5,000 off MSRP. The price is starting at $28,995. That's less money than an Audi Q3, Mercedes GLE, and a BMW X1. A lot less. Just more of the changes Tallahassee expects from the Kraft Brothers' newest store. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, across from Ted's Montana Grill. Prices include dealer preparation charge.
Did you know that 75% of high school seniors are accepted to their first choice college, but only about 50% of their parents can afford to send them? We have a plan for that. With the Florida Prepaid College Plan, you can start saving for as little as $47 a month. We offer a variety of affordable, flexible college plans to fit your budget and saving style. And you will never lose your investment because prepaid plans are guaranteed by the state of Florida. Enroll today at myfloridaprepaid.com because starting is believing.
Live life. Head on. Take every shot. And when it comes to tax season, go for the win with Liberty Tax. Because while you do life, we do taxes. Bounce into a Liberty Tax by February 16th and we'll give you $50 cash for filing with us. Send in a friend and when they complete their return, we'll give you another $50. Stop by today or visit LibertyTax.com. Liberty Tax. You do life, we do taxes.
Located at 2210 North Monroe Street next to Chick-fil-A. Call 597-8248.
Get your weekend started on Tallahassee's Sports Monster with Fishing Florida Radio. Every Saturday from 6 to 9 a.m., the guys from Fishing Florida Radio get you up to date on what's new and biting in the North Florida region, while welcoming big-name guests and celebrities too. Fishing Florida Radio on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, 501 St. James Avenue, Panacea, Florida, and by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Dale Jr. Chevrolet, 3127 West Tennessee Street. Online at DaleEarnhardtJRChevy.com.
If you do-it-yourselfers are looking for the right tool for the job, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale. You'll find a wide selection of Power Torque tools on sale now and guaranteed for life. Power Torque Tools DIY Day Sale going on now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Want to know what power feels like? Come get behind the wheel of an all-new, completely redesigned 2019 Silverado 1500 from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy. Shop over 100 in stock today.
Find new roads at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet and at DaleJrChevy.com.
Some say Hulu is the bacon of TV. But think about it. Bacon is so incredibly good, everyone's eating everything without bacon forever. And Hulu? Well, with tons of shows and movies, exclusive originals like The Handmaid's Tale, plus live TV for sports, Hulu will ruin TV for you forever. Bacon. Hulu. Hulu with live TV plan required for live content. Restrictions apply.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show. On 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'm looking at, I'm trying to find more odds here. Looking more for if there's anybody else dropping, how many wins. Not Aunt Becky. Well done, Mario. At Jay Cameron Show, The Positive Spin is the theater program at the Dublin, California Women's Federal Penitentiary is about to receive a welcome infusion of experienced acting talent. Indeed.
Talent indeed.
All right, sorry. I got sidetracked by my gambling endeavors. I was over here looking at my sheet, Tom. I got to do the show. But that kind of launched another area in which I was looking for numbers.
Mm-hmm. Win totals for the college football season, is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to keep looking for those because then they start to sprinkle in. It's just I'm excited. It's funny. I did run into an equally as maybe optimistic. You're finding the ebbs and flows, aren't you? That's where I'm at right now. Kind of looking back and forth at a nightmarish scenario that ends the run before it could ever get started, and a giant leap forward that facilitates the turnaround we're so desperate to see. That's kind of where I'm at.
Here's an interesting win total for you because we did get an email yesterday from a degenerate PR service that throws out some of the first.
I got that email, and I thought, good of Tom to forward this to me because he may be celebrating this degenerate place.
Yes, I'll give credit to them, sportsbetting.ag, since they sent us gambling over-unders in March for college football season. That's some good stuff right there. Boise State's over-under, their win total number is 10.
Well, we're going under when they go 0-1 to start the year and are devastated.
I thought they lost everything. What is this 10 number that they speak of?
Well, it's maybe more about their conference. That is crazy, by the way.
If you bet under, it's plus 105. If you bet over 10, it's minus 125. Leaning at 10.5.
Golly.
Yeah.
That is a big number. People feel very strongly about
But
them.
the fear got into you for that first game.
Did you look us up, did you say?
I don't know that we were on the list. I don't know that we're relevant enough right now.
If you're wondering and you're still watching, the various games that don't involve Florida State currently, and you might very well be doing that given that we have today off and tomorrow off while others work diligently to give themselves any chance whatsoever of making the NCAA tournament. You want to know also, Tom, and I know you did this last night, we all have, you want to tune in to the conference tournaments that have the most on the line. Should make mention that Notre Dame is about the dispatch of Georgia Tech, 15 seconds to play, 78-71, Fighting Irish. Season over, Georgia Tech. Have a good one.
Feels so bad for Passner. Seems like a good guy.
Miami 79-71 earlier today against Wake, so you have that. And we already mentioned that game, but just a catch you up if you're jumping in the car. But that said, kind of cool tournament bubble watch. If you're looking at the ACC, for example, Clemson and NC State have been paired together in the bracket in Charlotte, and they face off against each other tomorrow at noon. The loser of that game, bid peril, to say the least, right? That is
that's pretty much
you taking it on down the road, right?
I think it's a death blow right there, especially if you're NC State.
If Clemson loses, they would move to 1-10 in quad one games, Tom.
So it's probably for both of them. Then you got a playoff game tomorrow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's basically what you're going to get there. The Wolfpack, and also in big time trouble here on the bubble. 0-7 in ACC quad one games. They did get the victory over Auburn, which is now an appreciation value victory because of the big win the Auburn Tigers had, which I didn't get the chance to tease you about over the weekend.
Congratulations. They got the win that everybody thought they already had.
Yeah, I knew how happy you would be, right? So where else? Power 5-wise? Well, Big Ten, Ohio State is in trouble. The Buckeyes and the Hoosiers have to play one another. A lot on the line. That's Thursday afternoon in Chicago. Loser may need some help, to say the least. You have that. Big 12, bubble drama in Kansas City, Missouri. The Longhorns, played poorly against TCU in the season finale and now have a situation in which they would be considered on the cut line. If they lose in the Big 12 tournament against Kansas, they'll be 16-16. The 16-loss record is probably not going to get it done. Right?
Probably not. Need that win.
Yeah. So It's funny. I was looking at a bunch of different articles going through all the various conferences. You got your SEC, your Big East, and all. Big East is actually very interesting as well. But as I did, I looked from your traditional one big leagues, 25 teams, locks, 32 teams, bubble, 27 teams with 11 spots available. So this is a hell of a week.
Yes, but the bubble is weak in general, though. So if you don't make it this year, you really don't deserve it. There are some years where you get screwed because of you might get 2 bids in an at-large league because a conference championship game didn't go well in the tournament, or there's just a lot of really good teams, and the ones that are on that bubble that would normally get in, you get screwed because a lot of leagues are top-heavy or something along those lines. This year is just, man, if you don't make it, you really did not deserve it.
I will say this. I think a team like Syracuse out of the ACC is getting in. They ought to be in. They're 19 and 12, 10 and 8 in the ACC. They ought to get in. It doesn't appear that there's any reason for them to
over
worry.
500 in the league. I mean, yes.
Work to do. NC State in the Big 12. You would say your locks are Kansas, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Kansas State, Baylor, Oklahoma likely to get in. Texas, TCU. Well, we'll find out, right? Just mentioned them a moment ago. Big East, Marquette, and Villanova. Work to do. A lot of teams in the Big East this year with work to do. Seton Hall, St. John's, Creighton, Xavier, Georgetown.
St. John's was way ahead of it, and now they've fallen back to the pack, and yes, this is a critical week for them.
Yeah. Then we would look elsewhere in the Big Ten. You would say locks are Michigan State, obviously. Michigan, Purdue, whom we vanquished. Wisconsin. I was said Wisconsin.
Yes.
Maryland, Iowa likely, and Minnesota.
Basketball.
Ohio State and Indiana. Work to do. Yeah, that was a good one.
Wisconsin's football winning total, they're over-under this year, according to sportsbetting.ag. I have a select list of
I
teams
like
here.
how rando we are. We're all over the map, buddy. You go ahead and work that back in here. Infuse that gambling knowledge, shall we?
It's 8.5 for the Badgers, and it's -110 either way. So they think that's a hell of a number.
I started, speaking of numbers, my journey and my relationship with our friends at Orange Theory. You hear the ads on a regular basis now, and for good reason. A little over a week ago, and Tom, I'm here to tell you, I could tell you that they have state-of-the-art equipment, which they do, and it's a great selling point because the machines in an Orange Theory are replaced. I think I remember reading and hearing from the folks over there at least every 2 years. So you're always on a newer machine. It's amazing whether that's a treadmill or a rower. They have the water rowers, which are really good, but it also has the newest in weights. Anyhow, I know those things, people see that, they hear that. It's good to know that. But you know what else is good to know is that it works and that a person who's newly involved in it likes it. And I do. I'm not kidding about this. I've lost 6 pounds, 7 pounds, depends on when I go into weigh. I don't really care about the weight as much as I do getting in shape. But I have lost the weight, and I had something happen today that never happens. And this is the kind of thing I do like to convey to listeners who are thinking about joining something and maybe a workout program of some sort. What I would tell you is that I've never been good at running. I mean, that's not true. I ran track, but not at an elite level, but I've never liked running. I've never enjoyed running. In fact, every second of every run that I've ever engaged in, I absolutely hated. Hated it. Hated it, Tom, in a way that's unhealthy.
I do like the follow-up. I've never been good at running. I ran track in high school.
So
outside of
that
little brief period
that's
of my
true,
life.
where I could. No, I was fast. It didn't mean I liked it. Okay, there's a difference, right? 220, 440, you run really fast, really hard, very briefly, that's it. But I've always hated runs for distances. Can't do it, hated it, still just frustrates me to no end until today. True story, and I called you this morning. There was no ad involved in this. We were talking about our day and when I was going to meet you here and we were going to go over stuff. And I was going to get coffee right after I finished Orange Theory. That's the kind of addict I am. I get coffee after a workout. But anyhow, I did this morning run a pretty damn good distance, like a real good distance. 3 different times for 6 to 9 minute stretches where I'm having to gun it. I think I was running 6.5 miles per hour, 7 miles per hour, somewhere in there. And just keeping that pace, I've never been able to do that. In a week, I did it, and I didn't die, and I liked it. And it had a lot to do with Orange Theory's principles, which is they get you into a certain heart rate, and then you fluctuate from that, and then you come down, you have a base pace, then you have a push pace, then you have an all-out. And you fluctuate in between those zones so that you reach a place where you're able to burn an awful lot of calories, and then you enter into something called EPOC. That's in the weeds. I don't care about that. What I care about is it worked, and I'm getting stronger, and I enjoy it, and I think people will. If you're on the fence and you don't know, check it out for yourself. That's all I'm saying. Go to orangetheory.com or go into an Orange Theory, or hell, if you'd like, email me, and I'll email you back. That's fine. I really don't mind championing something that works and something that me and my wife are doing and something that I thoroughly enjoy, and that's true. That's Orange Theory.
Please do not disturb my sleep.
Sorry, boy.
Here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
25 energy efficient appliances, measures, and systems. You can get a loan for things like outdoor lighting, floor, ceiling, and wall insulation, Energy Star reflective roofing, and even things like gas ranges, fire logs, and grills.
Wait, even on grills? I've been shopping around for a new gas grill. I had no idea, and with it getting even darker, I could use some outdoor lighting. It seems the City of Tallahassee's loan program may be the perfect solution.
Well, just be sure and invite me over the next time you grill.
Of course, that's what friends are for.
Take advantage of the City of Tallahassee's loan program and save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com to learn more. That's talgov.com for more information.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting events? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, Jeff?
You know, buddy, that I like archaeology, right?
Yeah. I'm quite an anarchist myself.
Right. Well, anyhow, do you know what they find the world over when they excavate? You know the item they find the most of?
I don't know, rocks?
Freaking bowls.
Bowls?
Bowls everywhere. In Rome proper, right? Bowls upon bowls upon bowls.
That's very interesting.
What's the high school over in Jacksonville, the one with all the good football players?
Bowls?
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day, and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together, and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown, Florida State!
very soon.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. It's Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Will you set me running for cover?
Not surprisingly, there's an incident in Salt Lake City, Utah, bastion of tolerance, that has a lot of people talking about security in the NBA. This is true of professional sports in general. Russell Westbrook got into it last night and had a rather heated exchange with a fan during the Thunder's win over Utah. It's not the first time that he's had problems in Utah or that a player has had a problem in Utah. This is interesting, Tom, because it's nuanced. Most things are, right? It's not usually so cut and dry or black and white. It is oftentimes shades of gray where you got to figure out what's what. And the more you look into this story, the more that appears to be true. Now, as for the reason he's been called to the carpet, he is quite clearly seen in the video, you can watch it if you guys want to online, saying to the fan, making a threat to the fan, quote, "I'll F you up," and then went on to say, "you and your wife." If he had refrained, I do believe, from adding the wife to the equation, perhaps not a lot would be made of this. A dude threatening another dude is as old as time. Testosterone, hey, sorry, ladies, we get caught up in nonsense. It happens, but
I've never done that.
He says the reason it happened was an emotional response to a completely disrespectful comment. And he went on to say, for me, I'm just not going to continue to take disrespect for me or my family. He goes on to say, I think there's got to be something done. There's got to be some sort of consequences for those type of people that come to the game just to say and do whatever they feel like saying. I don't think it's fair to the players, not just me, but all the players, but I don't think it's fair. And if I had to do it again, I'd say the same exact thing because I truly will always stand up for myself, my family, my kids, my wife, or my mom, my dad, every single time. I expect anybody else to do the same. So that's kind of where I'm at in this whole situation. As for beating up his wife, I've never put my hands on a woman and I never will. Never been in any domestic violence situations, and you all know that. Never have before, not once. He kind of is admitting there that maybe he crossed the line in saying that, but he had no intent of hurting the woman. The fan's name is Shane Kiesel. He's 45 years old. He says that he didn't cuss at Westbrook and that the whole exchange started off as fun, him yelling at Westbrook to ice up those knees, and then saying something along the lines with, you're going to need it. Then later on, he says that's when Westbrook kind of went nuts. All right. So a difference of opinion here because what apparently Westbrook said that the guy said was, you best get on your knees like you're used to.
Ooh, well.
So that's a very different.
Than icing up the knees.
Very different than icing up the knees, along with some other stuff that was said. Now, here's where I get fascinated by this. Westbrook viewed it as blatantly disrespectful and vulgar. He also said that there was a racial tone to it. Well, whether I agree with that or disagree with that really doesn't matter. Certainly he felt that to be the case, and there is obviously to some extent probably indeed a racial element to it. You're talking about a black player being yelled at by a white fan to get on his knees. I view this a little bit more along the lines of a homophobic slur.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think that's what I view it as.
But you could easily see it
okay,
the other way.
so what I'm saying is you can understand how that could be misconstrued. Well, and this is where it is dicey, right? I believe that this was more of a homophobic slur because what I believe and can't prove or know is that fan believes Russell Westbrook is gay.
Why do you believe that?
I believe that because that has long been whispered around the NBA. Partly, Russell Westbrook is very flamboyant. He dresses accordingly. And I think some people immediately believe that means he is a homosexual. I don't know if he is or is not, and I do not care. But that whisper has been around for a long time. It suggests to me that the man was playing on that rumor, that belief. It's not unlike, Tom, some of the situations you see with Odell Beckham Jr. in the NFL. You know as well as I know, certain sites have certainly intimated, more than intimated, that he is a gay football player. Again, I don't care if he is or he isn't, but we're not going to stick our head in the sand and pretend like that's not a persistent rumor or reputation that follows him.
Or something that evokes a response. And
correct.
A response of zero tolerance. See the rumors about what the actual genesis of the Carolina Panthers, New York Giants exchange was all about pregame.
Right.
Yeah. Since we're already shoulder deep, let's go underwater here.
Sure.
When you're reading the transcript of get on your knees, you're used to it. That's where I believe that second part of it is
like
where
you're
I believe,
used to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's where I think they're probably attacking sexuality versus race.
I agree. But I also leave room for an interpretation from Russell Westbrook that might be different. He may view it as a racial thing, meaning he could be hearkening back to times of slavery. I don't know, and I also can't pretend to know. I don't know. I haven't lived the life he has, and so I can only imagine. And listen, his teammates defended him after this game saying, listen, whenever we come to Utah, this is the kind of thing that happens. It's not his first incident in Utah. You know, it's tough. I think there's a lot of things here. Gosh, it's interesting. It's fascinating.
Do they sell alcohol yet at those games? Because I don't think they do.
I think they do now.
Do they now?
Yeah, I think they do now. As was pointed out by everybody else near the situation, near the bench there, Russ didn't start talking to him. The fans started talking to him before Russ responded.
Is that according to teammates or is that according to people?
Well, you can watch the video, and then the teammates say that. I don't know what security says in this situation.
It would be important to get even other Jazz fans' perspectives, too, because, listen, most of the time, if you have an incident between somebody on stage and somebody who is in the crowd, or if you're at a game and then there's a fan-player dispute, if you're being an a-hole, even if we're wearing the same laundry on the way in the building, you're still being an a-hole. I don't care that you're a Knoll fan like me.
No,
you're starting some stuff here.
No, what I would tell you here is the NBA obviously will do a thorough investigation. They have to. And they will. And I think it's pretty easy, and I've long thought this was an easy thing to do, to remedy. Here's the deal, man. First of all, if you're a fan at a game and somebody says something that crosses that line, now that's up to interpretation, obviously, but if you're screaming profanities at a player and talking about his family or talking about his sexuality or addressing him with racial epithets, you got to go. You got to go. We're done. We're done. You got to go. It crosses every line of decorum. It's not okay just because you paid for your ticket to come in and think that you can say whatever the hell you want to say. And you have security that is educated, that has been given proper training to enforce that policy. The security people at NBA games, I've only been to 2, are in the aisles. They're there, and they're especially close down by the players because in the NBA arenas, players are right next to them.
Yeah, it's courtside.
Yeah. So if I'm a security guard and I hear a guy say something that is homophobic or racial in nature or anything like that that crosses the line, you're done. We got a no-nonsense policy here. That's different than you suck, Westbrook. Your team's garbage. All right, you want to say that, you say it. It's not my cup of tea. It's not what I do at games, but you paid for your ticket. You can boo them. You can do whatever you want to do in that regard. But when we cross that line, you've got to be sure, especially because the NBA has had this happen before where brawls occur. And I'm not saying that's the reputation of the league, but they're very sensitive to it. Obviously, we remember the Malice and Palace. So you've got to be sure that that can never happen again, right? And I think that's true across the board. I mean, golly, I can still remember Vernon Maxwell all those years ago charging into the stands to attack a fan, and we found out afterwards the fan was yelling at him about his dead daughter. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
You deserve an ass beating.
Yeah,
I mean, that crosses every. Well, listen.
Happened to Jurevicius in Philadelphia.
It also happened
NFC championship game.
to Boomer, the pitcher. What's his name? Lefty David Wells.
David Wells. Yeah.
David Wells walked. Was that in Philadelphia too? Matthew, was that in Philadelphia or was that Cleveland? All I can remember is he walked out. Yeah, he walked out.
Two candidates.
Yeah, he walked out to the bullpen from, he was a starting pitcher. He walked out into the bullpen, was going to climb up into the stands to beat somebody because they were talking about a deceased member of his family.
Jurevicius had his infant, I believe it was daughter, pass away.
Yeah, no.
And he walks out the tunnel, and a Philadelphia fan says, "How's your daughter doing, Joe?" Listen, man.
Yeah, no, any reasonable person understands that is absolutely despicable, unacceptable, and worthy of being thrown from the facility forevermore. I think we all get that, right? Mm-hmm. That's low-hanging fruit. This is the gray area, man, and this is where
you got to know what he said. That's first of all.
Well, they'll look this up.
The Jazz needs to know, obviously, as an organization. They have to know. And then, of course, the NBA needs to know because they have to rule on, a fan-player incident here on whether or not Russ was an instigator, somebody who was reacting, or somebody who reacted and still reacted over the top.
Well, I'm sure he'll be reprimanded. He doesn't care, but I'm sure he'll be reprimanded for the threat against the man's wife. Not a good idea. I'm not going to sit here and be holier than thou, though. I got to tell you, if I felt like somebody was throwing a racial epithet at me or a homophobic slur and whatever, any kind of a slur of any kind, and I thought they crossed a line, that we had gone to a place that ought not ever go, and now it's an affront to who I am and my, listen, I know I'm paid handsomely to be better than that. I also can't promise that 82 times a year for however many years I'm in the league, I'm always going to do the right thing. I think there's a chance that I might say something that crosses the line, especially when it gets confrontational to the level of you're making threats. If she's in on the commentary, it might be, you might say something you regret in the moment. Not that you would act on it, but you might say something you regret.
I tend to believe, given that it's happened a lot in Utah, at least according to his teammates.
Well, he's had a prior incident that we know about. He slapped the cell phone out of that one fan's hand. Yeah.
But I'm talking about it's just that it's a constant thing that always happens.
Well, they know they're
there.
under his skin now.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. If you're PR for the Thunder, you're like, this is going to happen now more because this story came out.
It is definitely going to happen.
And the next place you go to, somebody's going to pay an extra $300 a ticket just to yell at you and see if he can get some money off of you because he could sue you for coming at him violently or something.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of losers that people are.
Yeah, emotional distress, fear of safety, whatever you want to call it, right? Sure. I would just, again, I think this is easily remedied. Most of the time, you can train staff security to recognize commentary that crosses a line. And I think the NBA has to invest in that. Any league has to invest in that anymore. We know, we see it, right? The goal with which people act in football stadiums.
Well, remember the Heat, the Heat fan, that lady?
Oh, yeah.
In the white, because they had the white out that night?
Yeah. That was nuts.
That was ridiculous.
Well, we've seen lots of incidents like that. Hell, Jimmy Buffett was yelling crazy stuff one time in a game. I mean, remember that? I mean, it's true. He got kicked out of an arena. He got kicked out of an arena.
Was that Heat Knicks?
He was wasted and he said something stupid and they threw him out.
Not that it's okay because Jimmy did it.
No, it's terrible. I'm glad they threw his sorry ass out. But I'm just saying, it's what are we doing? I've never understood that. This is long before social media, long before everything was filmed, long before now everything's documented and we got to break it down like it's a Zapruder film. This long before that. As a kid, I never understood. We'd go to a game. You can boo heartily. People get it right in Chicago. They are some booing Jessies in Chicago, and it makes me laugh. No matter where you're at, if the opposing team comes out of the tunnel, you're getting booed heartily at a Chicago game. But that's about it. It's a boo. It's just a good old Chicago boo. I mean, they're all over you, right? I mean, it's just a hearty boo. But it's not anything more, typically. Fine boo. You can even... I mean, you suck. I mean, whatever. I think players are used to hearing that. They laugh. They probably use it
That's
as
a chant for the Nashville Hockey Club.
Yeah. I mean, so
losers they are.
Yeah. But I mean, okay. It's silly. I've never got it though. Like the rest of that stuff makes you uncomfortable. When you hear fans, your own fans, if we're at a game and we hear fans cross that line, I immediately, what's wrong with you, man?
That's what I'm saying. If you can get some people that are season ticket members, because I'm sure that not everybody sells their tickets on the secondary market, to at least weigh in on what's his name here, Ziggy.
Well, Shane Kiesel.
Shane.
Yeah, one thing I would say is, again, I think they'll be able to figure this out. He's saying he didn't curse at him and that he didn't say what Westbrook says that he said. Westbrook is very specific, quote, get down on your knees just like you're used to. That's what he says the fans said to him, and that's when he responded.
They agree on the knee part.
They got that part. My man says, I told him to ice his knees. I'm having a hard time.
As to why? Wait, why though? Why is he icing his knees?
I mean, it's a hard night on the floor.
Tough game?
Yeah, tough game.
Joint soreness?
Get your knees. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
With this job, having two hands won't cut it, which is why I thank the stars I have a third. Grainger. When my two hands are full, I fully rely on Grainger. They're America's #1 source for industrial-grade supplies. So, whether I'm fixing a furnace or fastening a faucet, Grainger hands me what I need when I need it, which makes me a pretty lucky guy. Because when it comes to needing an extra hand, Grainger's got your back. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Hendrick.
Are you ready to rule the open road? Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet has just what you need. Right now, get huge savings on the 2018 Silverado 1500 during the Silverado Sell Down Sales Event. So hurry in to shop our huge Silverado selection at Tallahassee's Chevy Truck Headquarters. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy on West Tennessee or DaleJr.Chevy.com. Find new roads.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story, linebacker Anthony Barr not heading to the Jets after all. He changed his mind about signing with New York. He will be returning to Minnesota. Barr initially had intended to sign with the Jets and play outside linebacker in their 3-4 scheme. The Ravens losing a couple more players on defense. Cardinals intend to sign linebacker Terrell Suggs, 1 year, $7 million. Linebacker Zadarius Smith heading to the Packers, 4 years, $66 million. Linebacker C.J. Mosley expected to sign with the Jets. Eric Weddle heading to the Rams after being cut by Baltimore. The defensive defections lead to concerns about the Ravens as a whole, in the opinion of ESPN's Booger McFarland.
They have to play a certain style. Lamar Jackson is not going to wow you with his arm and accuracy, so they want to play ball control, run the football, the zone read. The quarterback is going to run the football a lot, so therefore you're going to lean on your defense. And anytime you weaken a defense, no Suggs, no Weddle, now I question the formula in which you're going to win with.
Bills intend to add a pair of veteran receivers, Cole Beasley, 4 years, $29 million, John Brown, 3 years, $27 million. Dolphins closing in on a 2-year deal with receiver Devontae Parker. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting former Vikings running back Latavius Murray intends to sign a 4-year, $14 million contract with the Saints. Deal shakes up the running back market and means Mark Ingram will not return to New Orleans. Murray will be paired with Alvin Kamara in the Saints backfield. Coaches at elite schools including Yale, Wake Forest, Georgetown, Stanford, UCLA, Texas, and USC among the 50 people charged in a nationwide college admissions bribery scandal. Authorities allege that coaches accepted bribes in exchange for admitting students as athletes regardless of their ability.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning into it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live, either streaming free always. Don't miss anything. Hey, if you do, that's all right. We got you covered. All 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show on iTunes, also in our own audio vault, also on our app, the WTSM app, which is free for your mobile devices. Woohoo! Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Hello, all of you. I don't know why. I just want to say it. Florida State 9, Florida 3. And that's a wrap from Gainesville as the Noles have ended the losing streak at 8 straight. 13 to the last 14. Feels good to get the monkey off the back. These two will play again 2 more times later in the season. But for now, Florida State victorious. Just 1 loss on the season. And for Florida, their 6th loss already this year. There's the call.
9-3. That means you have some time to enjoy it. You're not worried about who's coming in the 8th now that we got the leadoff man on. We've walked him. No worries at all.
I have no idea if we'll lose 11-0, win 9-3, whatever it might be. I don't know, but I'm just letting you know that that's the inner voice. That's what I heard today when I woke up, realizing Florida State, Florida, the weight, the albatross around the neck of the baseball program is the inability during this losing streak to beat Florida, even in games at times in which you get out to a lead, whatever it might be. We've seen it all. The one you predicted, your bold endeavor, was that we would get out to a 2-0 lead on a 2-run homer, I think it was.
We scored 2 runs in the first. We're putting 2 runs in the first.
We did.
We sure did.
And I remember the tweets came in and the emails came in, and everybody was celebrating Tom Lang. T. Lizzie was the star of the day. Rightfully so for predicting our 2-run first. And then we got our ass kicked.
I never said anything about a win. I just said we were throwing 2 runs up there. In fact, I think you followed up with that question. I said, I don't know. I just know we're putting 2 up in the first.
A couple runs. Yeah. So
I remember hearing Lulu's call because the second run may have been on a wild pitch, or maybe the first one was. But when the second one came across, I said, woo!
There it is. You're in the car.
I was driving home, and as a selfish fan, I was saying to myself, all right, stop right there. You stop right there. 2's enough. That's okay. We don't need to get that next guy in.
By the way, the Canes knocked off the Demon Deacons today, and I want to say congratulations to my man Anthony Lawrence II. You guys know I've mentioned it before. I'm name dropping. I played with his dad, Square, as we called him. And so I'm proud of that young man. It's the one thing about Miami that I'll ever say I'm proud about there. 20 points today in the effort for Anthony.
What was the origin of the name Square?
I don't know. We just all called him Square.
Blocky shoulders? Or?
6'11". His dad was 6'11".
Oh, wow.
His dad used to throw shots into the upper row in the gym. Awesome guy. I used to play pickup games with him and some of the other guys out on. It's a long story, but we used to go play pickup all the time, and he was easy if he was on your team. Here's cross half court, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
We're going up top.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would come across half court literally and go woo. It was going to the rim because nobody was stopping that.
Well, a big game for Chris Likes today, too, as he had 13 points on 3 of 10 from the field.
3 of 10, huh?
Yeah, with 5 turnovers.
What a kid sucks. I love it. Anyhow, that's that. I got to say, this likely means Danny Manning is going to get his papers. Because I like Danny Manning. I remember him as a player.
Everybody does. That's the only talking point for any Wake Forest game.
You know, it's funny to say that. When you start talking, it's true. A couple times I've heard it out loud when I've said it about Willie, where I'll go, I really like Willie. And then I go, ooh, don't say that too much more. Because that is the last bastion. That's all you got. Well, he's a hell of a nice guy. We're real close to bless their heart territory.
Yeah. Well, with Danny Manning.
With Danny Manning, not with Willie, but
you're within the city limits of bless their heart. Yeah.
Oh, with Danny, you are already at bless his heart. Bless his heart. He's done. He's getting. But he's a multimillionaire. He'll be all right. But he's not going to be the Wake Forest head coach any longer. That's another losing season for Wake Forest. And you think back, Dave Odom, 1990 to 2000. 8 NCAAs, 3 NITs, 2 ACC tournament titles.
They were badass.
Yes, yeah. I remember the times.
It wasn't just about Tim Duncan or young Chris Paul. They were just nasty, man.
Skip Prosser from 01 to 07, 4 NCAAs and NIT, and then he unfortunately died. And then there was... what were you going to do? I mean,
something about the delivery of that.
Sorry. Yeah, he died. That was the end of that run.
Died.
He did. Like I said it like a Wake fan. Here we were rolling along and he up and dies. It's like my guy with the Masters badges when he died. You know, it's a tragedy, but it cost me the badges. Anyhow, and then we forget about Dino Gaudio, but rightfully so. He was fired. We never found out what happened to Dino. Do we really know what happened to Dino Gaudio? He was there for 2 years.
I don't know. They
told Dino to suck it out of nowhere.
They did.
That was crazy.
Maybe he was tied up in some stuff. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
These college basketball coaches. But I just envision you in a very Curb Your Enthusiasm like atmosphere. It's at a proceeding, and you bring a sympathy card. You say, "Now this is for you. Might you have something for me?"
Well, the card would be green, and so would the jacket I was wearing as I entered the premises for the viewing. It would have been so obnoxious. Green jacket, green card, like the sympathy card.
Yep. The envelope, yeah.
Maybe a green golf hat as I enter the building. I'm so sorry. He would have wanted somebody to catch this year's Masters, being that it's just a couple weeks away.
Hello, friends.
Yeah. That would have been good. That would have been really good, right?
I'm here. I'm here for you. Just like Jim Nance is here for us every April.
That is so awesome. Oh, I wish I would have had the opportunity. I'm glad I didn't, because who knows how close I would have come to some facsimile of that. I mean, I'm telling you now, that still lingers. But having been just last year to Augusta on the grounds talking with Jack, I've overcome that anger, that sadness, that overriding frustration that I had and possessed for many years.
See, my hope is I don't go for another 15 years myself, because then I'll get the payoff, which is I get to go to Perkins with Tiger.
There it
is.
It's
just like, there it is.
Actually, going to Perkins with Tiger would be pretty special. I mean, if you text me, I'm at Perkins with Tiger, I'm going to be like, well, my God, Tom.
I don't want just one syrup. I want all of the syrups.
I'm looking at the Wake Forest record here under Danny Manning. That's a toughie. You got 13-19 year one, 5-13 in the conference. Okay, just took over. What's the man to do? What's he going to do?
It's a mess.
2015, 2016, 11-19, 2-16 in conference. We're going to have to pick it up, Danny.
Getting rid of that class. That was the upperclassmen. All right.
Got to move it along. 2016, 2017. Okay. Here we go, Danny Manning. 19-14, 9-9 in the ACC. Rapid improvement by 7 full games, and they were, that's
Coach of the Year.
Yeah, well, hell of a run. We're moving in the right direction. 2017, 2018, 11-20, 4-14. Took a step back, Danny. Took a step back. Time to look around.
Never believed in you.
Came back another year, Tom, 2018, 2019. That'd be this one. 11-20, 4-14 again, 13th in the conference. His robust 65-92 run has fans wondering, along with a 24-66 conference record. A little sweet just played as I said it aloud. 24-66. They have a 267 winning percentage. Oh. Well, God, dog, that is a toughie.
So you guys see a text from the athletic director, and he says, Danny, we could have a meeting if you want, but do we really need to? I'd prefer to, be in the charity golf tournament on Friday. So you let me know, though. I'll be there.
You got a week, man. We're in no hurry. Go ahead, clean things out. I mean, obviously, we don't get to go to the ding-ding. We don't get to go to, what's the beep-beep? We don't get to go to the beep-beep or the ding-ding. Certainly not going to the choo-choo. So you got ample time to go ahead and get your stuff. Say goodbye to who you need to say. We always liked you, Danny. Understand, we always liked you. You're a good guy. That may be the problem. You're a good guy.
If I could also have your team-issued polos and also the Wake Forest duffel bags, any gear that we may have put in front of you when you took the gig.
Really ever.
It would just help in terms
I especially like the 14th, 15th sweatshirts that we gave out. You still got yours?
I know given our ACC TV deal and the ratio of the money we bring into the actual enrollment at Wake Forest, we are doing so much better than the universities like Florida State who are paying our meal ticket, but still every dollar counts.
Let's talk about it for 2 minutes here. What in the world are they doing at the ACC Network with these promotions? I mean, you want to just talk. That's a LeBron pee on the face of the fans maneuver with that damn advertising campaign for the ACC Network. You got nothing. You got the sod cemetery for a blip. It's like,
right.
Was that the sod cemetery? I couldn't see it.
Right.
I mean,
then you've got the helmet in between the fat rolls of a lineman.
And how long are you going to celebrate Georgia Tech? Jesus. They're the whole commercial. It's the stupid car coming out for 30 seconds of a 1-minute ad.
Yep. It sure is. Now, that's, you know what? If you want to keep wearing that sweater, you go ahead. But for me?
Man, no. I'll tell you what. I'm going to put a call in a Swaffy there. That is blatant disrespect. Blatant disrespect. That was crazy. We are, I understand, not old ACC. However, we carried the flag more than any other school in this conference, especially in the only sport that matters monetarily, football, for eons, for as long as we've been in the league. Now, Clemson has surpassed us. Without question, you can show Dabo patting the rock in his sweatshirt for 20 seconds of the commercial. You should. They're kicking ass, without question. But not to at least doff the cap to a 20-year, you're welcome ACC run from Florida State is ridiculous. That pissed me off. That was unbelievable. I didn't see it until you retweeted it. And you quote tweeted it or whatever.
Yeah, Ira had it. And I said, hey, man, that's the tinfoil people. This isn't going to give them much to go with here.
The ACC Network folks released a promotional video celebrating the upcoming launch of the ACC Network. And in doing so, like a lot of the network commercials do, meaning I should say the conference commercials do, you get a glimpse of everybody's traditions by and large. You get to see, obviously, Clemson touching the rock, and you'll see Miami run through the smoke. It's not much of a tradition, but I guess that's their thing.
They put the turnover chain in there because that's been going for decades.
Oh, yeah, they got the turnover chain in there. But that's fine. It resonates along with the fact that they've never even come close to winning an ACC title. And then all these other things, right? Well, you get a millisecond of Florida State. If you blink, you will miss it. There's a lot of Boston College who's irrelevant in this conference, irrelevant across the board. They do nothing for the ACC in any capacity. And there you go.
Yep, but they didn't need our signature for the Granite Heights deal at all. That wasn't a big thing for them to keep the conference
we
together.
Weren't going anywhere, man. That's an old thing we can't really afford to
but
debate
it's
again.
Okay. It wasn't that big of a gesture at all. You know what?
I know. I guarantee you they've heard enough. Most of the time, I don't get down with the cause du jour from FSU Twitter. Mm-hmm. This would be one where I go, yeah, man, have at it.
You look them in the eyes and you go, F you. That's what you say.
Well, the next one ought to be a 60-second ad with 52 seconds of it just being Chief Osceola jogging in slow motion onto the field on Renegade, throwing down the spear in all of its glory, followed by us and Jameis Winston hoisting the
This is why it's us against them. The next chance we get, it's a revenge tour.
Oh, I like it because it'll play out the way it did last time. That's fine.
Every time we're in the state of North Carolina, we should do what Joe Bucks fan says that everybody does on a football field.
He does describe it that way. Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
You've racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by, making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a large portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-683-8285. 800-683-8285. That's 800-683-8285.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Roofing and construction services.
tsparkconstruction.com.
Are you starting a new business or expanding your business? Looking for the right general contractor to assist you with a tenant space build-out? Look no further. From restaurant to retail, we have the experience to work with you. At T-Spark Enterprises, we are ready to be a part of your vision and build a space that exceeds your expectations. Whether you're looking for design build or build from your own design, give us a call today for a free consultation. As the owner of T-Spark Enterprises, I guarantee when it comes to your business space, we only provide picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, tsparkconstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
FSU football is returning.
Touchdown FSU!
But before their drive to build a new winning season, Doak After Dark returns with another amazing concert. Classic hits from the 90s hit the stage again as MC Hammer brings his epic throwback party.
Stop. Hammer time.
Also featuring Tone Loc and Color Me Bad, the biggest hits of a generation. See the concert after the FSU spring game Saturday, April 6th. Hammer's House Party Live. Get your tickets now at Seminoles.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, and I'm excited because March is here, and that means Nissan's corporate fiscal year-end. And Kraft Nissan is within striking distance of a huge year-end bonus. And I believe in sharing that year-end bonus with you because half of something is better than all of nothing. Now I'm betting that this Nissan town will realize a truly great deal when they hear one. And to get things started, Kraft Nissan is offering $50 when you test drive a new Rogue. Here's how it works. Go to our website, craftnissan.com, and search Rogue. Pop-up will appear and choose a $50 reward card from either Amazon, Visa, or Best Buy. Next, tell us your email so that we may send you a reward code. Simply bring that reward code to Kraft Nissan, test drive a new Rogue, and you'll receive a $50 gift card instantly. And at Kraft Nissan, we're so sure we have the best prices in town that we'll beat the prices of our competitors by at least $1,000, and we'll put $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book on your trade. Plus, all Kraft Nissans come with our exclusive lifetime warranty, absolutely free. It's Kraft Nissan's fiscal year-end with Nissan Corporate. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I was talking about it with young Matthew, Director Matthew, I should say, earlier today, Tom. I'll ask you, is there a running back? Usually you ask me this question. Is there a running back in the league right now that you would venture paying a lot of money over many years?
Right now, so every running back in the NFL is a free agent.
Everybody's a free agent, and you have, under the cap, the ability to sign a mega deal, a big deal, like one of these deals we're seeing signed now by the better players in the league. Absurd money being thrown around, by the way, should be noted, by and large, absurd money being thrown around to average to slightly above average players. It's because a lot of teams have a lot of cap room, and there are so few players, good players on the market, and they're getting overpaid, overcompensated. That's what's happening right now. You look around this league, you could analyze deals for lesser-known players. But like Justin Coleman, goes to the Detroit Lions, and they're going to give him $36 million. What are we doing here, man? I like LaMarcus Joyner an awful lot, and I'm happy my man's about to get paid, but good Lord, the money he's going to make. And good on you, LaMarcus, good player. Not a game-changing player. Not the kind of money we're seeing thrown around here. Tyrann Mathieu's a nice player. $42 million? I need you to stay healthy. Again, we can go back to Nick Foles. I like Nick Foles, and you can't run out there with Blake Bortles. But go to hell with $88 million, $50 million of that guaranteed. Nick Foles is a okay to good when he's right quarterback. He's not elite in any way, shape, or form. What are we doing giving somebody $50 million guaranteed, Jacksonville?
Well, that's desperation because they think their window is probably only another, 2 or 3 years before they have to start going all in.
But Adam Humphries, let's do this. Let's take Adam Humphries. We like Adam Humphries. $9 million per season. He's a 5 when everybody's healthy in Tampa Bay. You're going to give him $9 million a year?
Well, whenever he throws a check down from your starter.
Yeah, I guess you better have a guy that's sure-handed and going to be there 7 yards beyond the line of scrimmage for you. Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away by what I'm seeing in the free agent market. I'm not saying Devin Funchess, $10 million? Okay. I just don't see it. I know a lot of people get mad when their team's not spending, and there are names out there. Look at the Bucs deal, for example, and I'll get back to the running back question. The Bucs deal, Deshaun Jackson goes to the Eagles. The Bucs get a sixth back. It was the best you were going to probably get. Everybody knew that you had no leverage. You had no leverage. You tried to create a market, and it really didn't exist. So the Eagles get a guy that, hasn't, by the way, since leaving Philadelphia, has not played 16 games in a season. He doesn't. He never does. It's either a hamstring, a thumb, some sort of problem. He's pissed off at the world. Something happens where he's gone for 4 games, 5 games. So, he's not going to play a full season for you. He will stretch the field. He does do that. There's no doubt he can run real fast in a straight line. He will give up on routes. He doesn't go across the middle. He's a terrible locker room guy. So there's that. That's what you get. For the Bucs, you get back probably the best you could get back, a 6th-round pick. It's not ideal, but when you look at Tampa Bay, the one thing that makes you worried is that Arians does want to throw the ball down the field. They just decided they can't work with him, and I get it because you can't work with him. He's an a-hole, meaning Deshaun Jackson. But they got to go do something. John Brown, who was in Arizona, maybe you go get him as a deep threat, something.
I mean, you could look to a 3rd or 4th round pick for a burner, something like that. I mean, especially if there's already going to be so much attention paid to Mike Evans. And Chris Godwin is a good player. He had a little blip on the radar in the middle of the season.
Well, those are your 2 stars right there, and you've got a star tight end, so you're good there.
I'm a fan of Watson, the kid we drafted last year, who's a really big body type, and he does run somewhere between 4.4 and 4.5.
All right, so they better hope he emerges.
They better hope he emerges. And then, you've got OJ, and you're banking on OJ being healthy again. I think they like Bobo, too, which whatever. But, listen, receiver 4, receiver 5 is as interchangeable as tailback 2.
Well, that's why I wouldn't give Humphreys $9 million a year.
Right.
I mean, what are we doing? I mean, that's crazy.
He's important, but he's not that important.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that's listen, you can find those guys. They're out there. It's crazy to look around. Again, even Landon Collins. Landon Collins ain't covering anybody. He'll come up and stick you. We know that. I love him as a player because he's got a lot of what for to him, but he's an in-the-box safety. That's what he is. He's not going to – anybody that can move, he can't cover. Yeah. You're going to give that guy $45 million guaranteed, $84 million?
Well, I think part of it is the salary cap's just going up so quickly that with the TV deals they signed for weeknight football, the Thursday night football deal they just got, the streaming rights, they're getting into the gambling scene, and so they have
good on you, NFL.
They've got to report all of these dollars. And that means that the cap is going to go up steadily every single year. And the NFL survived a blip on the radar. As long as they don't have anything come up that's new. They survived it because this year was much more entertaining. And they got by whatever political nonsense people were pretending to care about, even though the numbers were still good. And remember, before the season started, too, there was talk about how they were going to count bars differently, like, watering holes. You're watching the Sunday Ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Because they felt they were losing out and the numbers were not real. All of that is in the past because by the end of the season, the talking point was very simple. If you're looking for the number 1 live event in a given week of programming in the fall, it's the NFL. If you're looking for the number 10, it's the NFL. If you're looking for 2 through 9, guess what? It's still the NFL. So they've made so much money and they've positioned themselves so aggressively and so well moving forward that I think the cap's just going to keep going and you're going to start seeing that baseball type thing. Where you're looking at players and you're saying, there's no way X player
is a marginal. Yeah. I mean, it's not to say that all of these deals haven't featured some good ones. I mean, obviously, I think the Raiders fleeced the Steelers in their trade to get Antonio Brown. A 3rd and a 5th round pick is what the Steelers got back for 2019. That's an A. You win, Oakland. You win. If you're the Steelers and you're grading there, it's going to have to be a D or whatever. I don't. That's crazy.
Well, with Antonio Brown, if Gruden's history in Tampa is any indicator, Antonio's going to really like playing for John. For a couple of reasons. Number one,
he had a player just like him a long time ago.
Correct. He'll scheme you open even though the world knows that it's going to go to you. Once or twice a game, you are going to be so open, people scratch their heads. Number two, if you don't want to practice, you don't have to practice. Joey Galloway did not practice during the week. John Gruden was totally fine with Joey Galloway not practicing during the week.
Joey one route Galloway. He was
That's
like,
right.
as long as you can still run, we're okay.
You're going to have 3 catches, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I don't need you on Tuesday.
No, I know. It is crazy. By the way, I was reading a report on Bobby Hart, former Seminole Bobby Hart's deal in Cincinnati. And I don't know if you saw this or not. I'll read directly from the column on ESPN. They said about 3 years, $21 million for Bobby Hart, that it's an absurdity that Cincinnati would give Bobby Hart that money. And they said the reason being that he was cut by the Giants last year for 2 reasons: poor performance, and he quit on his team. Now, he has denied the quitting part, but he cleared waivers, went to injured reserve before signing a 1-year deal during the offseason with the Bengals, who eventually installed him as the starting right tackle, and they give him a 3-year deal now, $21 million. And by all accounts, his performance on the field has been marginal at best, and now he has the quitting tag thrown down to him. I will just say this: Bobby Hart, hang in there. I don't know whether you quit or you're not. I don't watch the Giants. I just say this: you should retire in 3 years. You'll be 27 years old, and you will have made somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 million, and you may have your brain about you. 27 with $30 million, assuming you haven't thrown it all away, is a pretty good run. Go through Florida State, go to the league, $30 million. I'm out at 27. Yes, please. Retire.
To answer your initial question, I would give the money to Saquon right now. The trend is so fresh on the tire. That's exactly who
I said. I said the same thing. I said there's one running back in the league right now that if they came out and you could have him and you had to sign him to a long-term deal and $1 gazillion, Saquon Barkley. And here's why. And you know my feelings on running backs. For me to pay you, for you to be preternatural, transcendent as a running back in this league, I think you got to be able to do at least 3 things. You got to have big playability. I don't want the guy moving the chains for 6 yards. I'm not overpaying for him. Let's put it that way. They're a dime a dozen. You can get him anywhere. You can get him in the 6th round. I want a guy that if he makes you miss or breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage is gone. All right? In that sense, Dalvin fits the bill. But going back to Saquon, we both agree he can do that. He'll also run your ass over and make you miss. He also loves the game. He's not sitting out and he's not injured all that frequently. He's got the body type for it. He's all these things. But you got to be a playmaker. Yeah. You got to have speed, breakaway speed, playmaking ability, and you got to obviously have the body type. He is that kind of guy. Name the guys that have a lack of injury history, but also have burst and ability to make you miss, run you over. They're so few and far between. That's why those guys are so sought after. Dalvin, I'd love to give Dalvin money. Dalvin's never healthy. I can't give Dalvin money. So, Dalvin, I hope you get healthy, but I'm not overpaying for you. Just like I said, I wouldn't overpay for Devonta Freeman. Go through the list of running backs that have had bigger careers up to this point, early on even. Todd Gurley. I think he's about out of the league. Mm-hmm. That sounds great, but he's bone on bone with the knee. They knew that when they drafted him. Now, they got the best running back in the league. Why? Well, he's fast. For his size, he's absurdly fast. So long distance, taking it to the house, it happens with him. Run your ass over, happens with him. Catches the ball out of the backfield, happens with him. Make you miss in the open field, happens with him. And now he's about done. Why they gave him a second contract, I have no idea.
Yeah, that second contract was interesting.
Well, I mean, and it's a shame because he's a real good player. But he's about done, and we saw it at the end of this year.
Unless you can find some cartilage under a rug somewhere.
It sucks, right? But can you name another guy? I was trying.
No, I mean, the next closest candidate would be your friend, Christian McCaffrey.
In the right offense, he's a beast.
But his body type doesn't suggest that if he's going to run between the tackles.
10 years? No.
No, not a long-term deal.
5?
Saquon, yes, though.
Oh, Saquon for sure. 100%. But that's the only guy. That's the only guy in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nobody else.
That's it. We're in agreement on a running back, Tom.
Yeah,
how about that? It happened.
Kumbaya.
Hey, it's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
This offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I guess is plenty of this because it's not far away now. Florida State down on the road against Florida in Gainesville. Actually, it's first true road game, given the fact that, Jacksonville and South Florida both got rained out. Seems appropriate. I'm almost happy that it's the first road game for Florida State, 6:30. You can watch that game if you want to watch it. It is on the SEC Network. So I will say this. Eduardo Perez is going to be on the call, so at least you got to know in the booth, so you'll be all right there. Even though it is on the SEC Network. At least we get to watch the game. I won't get to watch the game. I'm going to the Tweety concert. But I'm going to hold my breath that this ends the losing streak as Florida State. Baseball is funny this way, and it can be infinitely frustrating as well. But Florida has, as you guys know, won 8 in a row against Florida State. Moreover, 13 of 14. It feels almost longer than that. It feels like an eternity since Florida State was able to win this game. Now, in the past, certainly in the last couple of years, I would say that there have been plenty of moments where I thought, boy, the two programs, they're not close. You know, we've had this sort of up and down thing in the series, obviously mostly down lately, losing all these games. But some of the time we came off the field, I thought, it's relatively close, just went their way tonight. Other times I felt like, well, Florida won because they're better pitching, better defensively, and equal offensively. You're not going to win a lot when you have a series against a team that's better than you in 2 of the major 3 categories. So I kind of, that hurt, but you could deal with it. It seems like now with Florida State playing as well as it is at 13-1 right now, Florida State leads the nation defensively in fielding percentage. It has been a team that is doing something better than it did before in these prior meetings against Florida. If you're going to go on the road and get a win, I know, home field advantage is only as good as your next day's starter, typically speaking, because obviously if your starting pitcher goes out there and gets shelled, it doesn't really matter where you're playing. But if you're going to go on the road and assume that you get at least a decent performance from your pitching staff, the thing that typically separates is whether or not you can pick up the baseball. And right now, knock on wood, Florida State is picking up the baseball better than anybody in the country through 14 games.
Yeah, for me, seeing bits and pieces of the weekend over Virginia Tech, the weekend series victory, extra innings on Friday, and then some of Game 2 on Saturday, and then go into one full game and a part of another game. For me, this is a good chance to see what this lineup can do. Not the pitching staff, I get it. It's a midweek game. But what this lineup can do against good pitching. That's what this is about for me. It's a get-to-know-you game.
Yeah.
Because basketball has taken the lion's share of my energy and time and focus as somebody who covers Florida State. And we're getting to the point of the season where, obviously, as you enter ACC play and these midweek games are against better opponents, in fact, that they're happening in the first place because of the rainouts that you're talking about. All right, it's time to learn who these guys are, because I get they got fat on some bad competition, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to hit for power against good competition, too. It could mean that, but let's find out, and tonight is that first step.
Yeah, my fear, obviously, is that you will see more of these situations where they have an overabundance of strikeouts, which I can live with. I know the fan base gets pissed when they watch teams strike out, but if you watch modern baseball, if you watch Major League Baseball, you watch your team strike out a lot. You get used to it because those guys swing for the downs, and there's no shame applied to striking out. You got to be who you are. I'll live with that. If you're going to strike out a bunch, okay, but you're also going to hit 4 home runs and drive in 8, okay, runs are runs.
Right. Well, and if you're striking out swinging, I think we can take that a little bit more.
Yeah, typically
than getting
so.
locked up on 3-2 or something. That's something on middle in or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at the two teams just in terms of hits and power and all of that. Florida State has hit 26 home runs so far this year. Florida's hit 19. Again, it's hard to know a lot about the two teams because of the games they've played out of conference, but Florida State's slugging percentage is pretty robust at .545 to Florida's .454. But again, I will say this. You know who's struck out more than Florida State so far this year? Florida. So it's interesting. We strike out a lot, true, but Florida has as well. And so the approaches of the two teams have been fairly similar, with Florida State actually having been better in driving in runs and hitting for more power despite that approach. Florida State's team ERA, take it for what it is through 15 games, is also better than that of Florida's currently, which is not something we're used to seeing at all, to say the least. Florida State has walked fewer batters than Florida has, and Florida State has struck out 1 less batter than Florida has. That's surprising. I mean, what we're accustomed to seeing with Florida is that sort of domination, right? And you may get it tonight, but maybe not, depending on how Sully decides to play it. All I know is that I checked that stat this morning, and I thought that the difference would be probably striking, because Florida strikes out. I mean, they throw hard. They got guy after guy throws 98 typically. We're watching, wondering aloud, how are these guys in college? Florida State has struck out 141 batters. Florida has struck out 142. The cursory glance at just the stats, they've played 18 games. So they've played 4 more games?
Yeah.
That is striking to me that they have not distanced themselves to a greater degree in those categories. It is kind of surprising.
Yeah, especially like you're talking about with just a raw, if you're looking for a raw total, you would think obviously they'd be quite the distance apart. This is just a big week for Florida State baseball in general. It starts tonight, and you want to get off the schneid against Florida, and you want to try to start something new, especially with a new group. It looks like there's going to be, quite the nucleus here for 2 to 3 years of guys that you can count on. I know minimum 3 for anybody who's a true freshman, but it looks like we've got something going here, and you wonder if that mojo. There certainly is a little bit more gusto if we hit one out of the yard, for example. You see how we walk across home plate? You think, how's that going to fly tonight in Gainesville if we hit one off the O'Connell Center?
Well, just do it. Just do it, though. I mean, be who you are.
Yeah.
If you're, if that's what you're going to do this year, and that's kind of going to be the team that you are, if that inspires and fires up everybody else, hey, man, listen, I get it. You and I are fans of Major League Baseball, too. It's the kind of thing to get you hit in the neck. Games change some. Kids are, and even in the pros, are pretty flamboyant these days with their celebrations, over the top even. But you can't be that here and then don't do it on the road.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, there's a personality developing in this team. That's why this is a big week. Night 1 tonight against Florida, but then you go on the road for an ACC weekend series. So now you're going to start to learn. And I think that's what this staff, I'm sure, is excited about. More than just the chance to beat Florida, which I know Mike Martin and Mike Martin Jr. really, they thrive on that. Tyler Holt's our first base coach. Think he's not going to say a thing or two? But you get this challenge tonight, followed by a weekend series where you can bond as a team and then also see how you face adversity on the road together as well.
I'll tell you, man, I would love this to be a trend of things that continues for Florida. I'm so tired of watching their starting pitching be worlds better, not only than ours, but really the rest of the country. It's something that we've noted time and again. It is a testament to whatever Sully's doing in Gainesville to get kids to stay and play college baseball. But so far, their starters have been, by their standards, certainly pedestrian on the season. They haven't been great. And so that and the fact that they're not picking up the baseball is also a real surprise. We know how good they've been defensively over the years. Their fielding percentage, Tom, is .966. They're not picking up the baseball in any way, shape, or form.
My goodness.
Something's up. Maybe it's a long season. We'll see. but they've struggled in series that you wouldn't expect them to. They've lost games that you would never expect them to lose. They're not picking up the baseball the way that they had. And in many ways, that puts even more pressure on us to go down there and win now and end the streak. It may not happen. Put the ball in play.
Put it in play tonight instead of 16, 17 strikeouts.
Yeah. I just, I don't think they'll suddenly become something they're not. I mean, they're not going to shorten up. That's the problem.
Depends on the stuff that's coming at them, though. So if they've got some weekday guys that they like in a year as their, part of a Friday, Saturday rotation, you might see them tonight. Maybe that's the experiment that Sully gets to play. That's just the hard part of playing a series in second week of March, and you really don't know what anybody is. They might have some kids they like us. We've got so many bullpen arms, right? But we're trying to sort out who's who. Who's a weekday guy, who's a Friday, Sunday bullpen arm, who's just one time a weekend. You use them once, and that's the end of it. They'll be sorting that out as well.
Well, think about for Florida State tonight. Can you imagine just how nervous Florida State, and I don't mean nervous on the road or anything like that, but just you look out there and you see the arms that'll be thrown out there tonight. We're not going with a normal rotation, of course, because the series has been screwed up and co-opted in so many ways. And, this is my annual lament. You know what would be better than a one-game series? A four-game series where you get to see everybody and every meaningful scenario that there could be. We ought to be celebrating Florida coming here or us going there Thursday through Sunday. Be done with it. Let's go. You throw your one, I throw my one. You throw your two, I throw my two. Let's see what this would be in a series. We don't get that. So it's a series of arms, one-offs, kids getting 2-3 innings maybe, and you really don't know.
Whose fault is that? It's been so long. We're going on, 10 years of this?
It's more than 10 years. It's Florida's fault. They backed out. That was under Arnold, I think, when they originally backed out. It's that long ago. It's like 15 years ago. It's forever now. But it was back in the day. It was awesome.
There are so many series against the Mercers of the world that we really can't fix this.
Well, you have to have Florida agree to it, and I don't know anymore that we would agree to it anymore. Because
that's what I'm saying.
This is my argument all the time with Coach Martin, Mike Martin Jr. I'm sure it's evolved into something else. It used to be that Florida didn't want to do it anymore. Maybe it was Lopez who did this. It might have been. He decided that, no, we don't want to play that series the way that it used to be. As you all know, you longtime Florida State fans remember, we played 6 against the Canes. I mean, that was the best. 3 here, 3 down there, hostiles all hell.
I remember that. It was always on Sunshine Network.
Oh, it was the best. And it was also fun to attend that because you had this sense that you needed to win that home series. It was awfully hard to go down to Mark Light and find a way. The hostility of the fan bases for each other in that series is legendary. But it was an awesome time at the park. And I really, again, I always smile and think very fond memories of the breaks that I was given by Lee Bowen. To travel with him on more than one occasion for a 4-game series against Florida, 2 here, 2 down in Gainesville in succession. I got to do color. It was so fun. And you also got to see the best and worst of each fan base. You also got to see the best and worst of each team because you had so much evidence. Who's coming off the bench? Who's got the deeper bench? Over 4 games, you find that out. Who's got a deeper bullpen? Over 4 games, you find that out. A one-off, it's a series of relievers. It's an experiment.
Do you think there's a fear to it because of the fact that the NCAA likes to pair people regionally speaking? And I'm not trying to make a pun with regionals and super regionals, but it seems that the Gainesville and Tallahassee regionals may be paired together. If there's even a little bit of an excuse to do that?
Yeah, maybe.
Might it be you'd rather be unfamiliar with your opponent at that point of the year?
Well, to take you back how far this goes in regards to that question, of course, they hid behind, embarrassingly so, shamefully so, 9/11. I mean, that's how long we go back. I'm not talking about Gainesville. I'm not talking about Florida. I'm talking about the NCAA and the committees where they paired these regionals. They originally said right after 9/11, and you guys can look this up, it was about safety. We don't want people flying all over the country, so we're going to try to pare it down. Well, look, there's like 3 regions in the country where they play good baseball. The predominant great baseball is played in the South. Now, you do have out west, obviously, the likes of an Oregon State. Obviously, Cal State Fullerton and Stanford and Arizona State over the years have had great teams. But that's about it. That and Texas. That's where you get great baseball. Well, you're all cannibalizing each other while you give the North a pass. And I'm not one of these guys, oh, those damn Yankees. That's not what I mean. But that's what would happen. And
in this case.
Yeah, and it was really aggravating. And then after a while, they realized it was absurd to say that it was about safety. I mean, It's ridiculous. And now they don't even try that anymore. But
they seed 1 through 16 now. But.
Yeah, but yeah, and I don't know, maybe so, Tom, but it is it's maddening to me. I think for the betterment of college baseball, for the betterment of the two programs in this case, but really programs all throughout the Southeast and Texas and California, they ought to have these series be what they were originally meant to be.
I wonder if they don't find a way once the ACC network is live. Because now now you've got two studios, right? You got an SEC network studio dedicated in Gainesville, and they've already built it out here in Tallahassee.
They have, yeah.
You've got an excuse, right? A channel to put it on.
It's exciting to think that these are the kinds of developments that the ACC network might force, right? You may end up, they got to sell it. You got to have a reason to watch, right? You got to put on marquee things. Listen, no offense to volleyball, but the truth is that's not going to draw the numbers they're looking to draw. Series like this would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. It would be great.
Well, and if you want to do the weekday thing and continue on as you're doing, then you got to send somebody over. You just got to alternate year to year. Listen, your SEC Network crew, you have a mobile crew. You get up there, you go to Jacksonville to the baseball grounds for that one game, and then the next year it's the ACC. And you just go back and forth because this mix and match, nobody's going out there putting it on TV thing is ridiculous for the Jacksonville game.
You know what?
Because that's a great atmosphere.
It's an awesome atmosphere. Let me tell you what I would love, and if they can get rid of listen, I know they're not going to get rid of the Jacksonville thing. It makes them too much money. The crowds are massive. But what I would love is if they could ever find a way to do a 4-game series again, or even just a 3-game series, and we can alternate from year to year. It's 3 in Gainesville, 3 in Tallahassee. I'll take that. But what I would tell you is, how great would it be? And I don't know the logistics of this and who would present what argument. But wouldn't you like the way they almost with officiating, where if the series was in Tallahassee, the SEC crew came up to do the game. And if the series was in Gainesville, the ACC crew went down there to do the games. So you just almost had a balance a little bit, and you have each network. It would be ideal.
This would be easy, man. I mean, there's always a cause, too. You could do hurricane relief this year, but you could always find a reason to up the tickets a couple of bucks a piece and then make this a statement for the entire state of Florida and make it something positive. I don't know. I'm getting too in the weeds, I suppose, but it's just been so long since it was a weekend thing, I can barely remember it. Especially, maybe when I was an undergrad, and that was it. I don't even know.
Yeah, I absolutely remember it, and I got to call it and loved it, and it was a lot of fun. And at least tonight, I will say, SEC Network, Dave Neal and Eduardo Perez are going to be on the call, and you can watch the game along with Kyle Peterson's in the booth too. So, and he's good. They're good. That will be a fine broadcast.
Eduardo is like Kenny Albert. He's everywhere. He's on every channel. He's on every broadcast. Although I don't know that he does Marlins stuff anymore.
No, I don't think so. And he doesn't do anything with the Rays anymore either. So I think he's pretty much a college baseball guy, occasionally baseball tonight.
For about 3 years there, he was on 401, 403, 404, 396, and 486. Didn't matter. He was all over the place.
Well, you rightfully pointed it out. I'll say this. It was one of my great memories we all have is the defunct Sunshine Network. I know that was Tom Block. Makes me smile thinking about it. Him and Barry Milligan, I remember it like it was yesterday. And you could always watch a lot of college baseball. You got to see not just Florida State, but you saw Florida, you saw Miami. You just saw a lot of college baseball back in the day, really every game.
One thing, I don't know if it's a coincidence that now that they're moving so forward so quickly with the ACC network and the studios are built, but have you noticed the quality of Florida State baseball games on the app are so much better?
Yeah.
Just like the connection quality, the fidelity of the drop out every 5 freaking seconds.
Everything sounds better, yeah. Absolutely, I think so. What do we got? What do we got here? I'm always confused when we got this much basketball going.
We got some conference titles tonight. Yeah, another doubleheader of conference titles.
Cool. What's fun to watch?
Which ones, I forget. But, tickets will be punched right here starting shortly.
Well, it really doesn't matter, right? It's just a whole week's worth of goodness, and we'll have it. And, of course, if you're a basketball fan, it's your time right now, man. It's the big build-up off to Charlotte. Obviously, ACC tournament started today. Good times. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.